combination in the country. They work together so well. A lot of their patterns are choice patterns, which allows Wendell to find the open area, and Hodson really does an excellent job of putting the ball in the open space. They work together tremendously.
Now, the tough question is, how does Kentucky's defense, which has been playing only allowing 8 points a game, how do they stop LSU?
Well, they have lived by the blitz up to this point. They live by the sword, and they'll come after LSU. They'll try to put pressure on Hodson. They got him out of the game early last year, but he came back in to lead LSU to a victory. That's what they're going to try to do. They'll try to run some people underneath on Wendell, try to take him away from the LSU offense and make him run the ball.
In a league of great young running backs, Kentucky has one, Mark Higgs, who has 8 touchdowns, 682 yards on the year.
And probably has got the best balance of any running back that I've seen this year. Just a kind of diminutive runner. He's 5'7", weighs 190 pounds, but great power in his legs, and you'll see him smashing up into the line of scrimmage and bouncing outside. It's hard to get him off his feet.
Everybody thought LSU would have a tough year with their defense. They lost 7 players to the pros, but they've been playing well defensively.
And Mike Archer wasn't worried about that at all as we talked to him. He's got a good coaching staff, and he had excellent backups to the players they lost to the NFL last year.
We'll be back in just a moment with the kickoff from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System.
Introducing new Alka-Seltzer Plus Nighttime Cold Medicine.
It helps me go to sleep, which is difficult when you can't breathe.
Helps clear my nose right up. It really did.
New Alka-Seltzer Plus Nighttime Cold Medicine. A new nighttime formula without alcohol helps put your cold to sleep fast.
It helped clear my sinuses through here where the pressure builds up so I could breathe and sleep better. A clear head and a good night's sleep.
New Alka-Seltzer Plus Nighttime Cold Medicine helps put your cold to sleep fast.
Headache, pressure, and congestion. All together, the major symptoms of sinus complex. You need to feel better, but not drowsy. You need Sinutab 2, no drowsiness formula. Sinutab 2, so you feel altogether better and awake.
Tonight. All right, any deputy steps on my property looking for trouble, he's going to find it.
A gun sent him to prison. Now, only a gun can set him free.
Captain, this is something entirely new.
He revolutionized the rifle. Jimmy Stewart as Carbine Williams, a world color premiere. 8:05 Eastern on the Superstation tonight. Special guest Jeff Van Note talks about the NFL strike, plus a World Series update. The Sports Page, 11 Eastern on Superstation TBS Sunday night.
Jerry Claiborne, head coach at Kentucky in his 6th year at his alma mater. He's 29-30-3 at UK. And his team is going to have an opportunity to go on offense as we begin this ball game. And he's got some speed merchants back there in the backfield. You see 82 Bolden and 19 D. Smith. Kicking off, number 8, Ron Lewis for the LSU Tigers. Both teams undefeated in the SEC. D. Smith watches it sail over his head and out of the end zone, and the Kentucky Wildcats will come up to the line of scrimmage at the 20-yard line, and there's the man under fire, Glenn Ford, a junior college transfer who's playing in place of the injured Kevin Dooley. He has a better arm than Dooley, but he does not have the understanding of the defenses around the SEC, and Ford will be sorely tested today. You can bet he'll give it to this man a lot. 682 yards, Mark Higgs, number 22, their best offensive lineman. He is a specimen, Dermontti Dawson at right guard. The handoff, Higgs, about 3 yards to the 23 or 24-yard line. The LSU defense, as we said, 7 of last year's starters went into professional football this year, but they've got good returning players. Darrell Phillips, the nose guard, 3 field goal blocks. Ron Sancho, Tim will talk about him. He's fun to watch. Number 52, and Eric Hill, 54, the other linebacker, also good. And the key man in a very talented secondary, number 11, free safety, Chris Carrier. Second down, 7. Kentucky, official timeout. There's the referee of today's game. He is Dick Burleson, native of Birmingham, Alabama. Well, good morning to you, Tim, and welcome to all the Central Time Zone viewers for our 11:38 kickoff here at Tiger Stadium.
You know, I was talking to Jerry Eisman, the offensive coordinator for Kentucky, yesterday, and asked him why Kentucky always played LSU so strong. As you look at the official conference there. And he just says that our players don't like him. And one of the reasons, I think, is, for example, this morning they woke up and they found their equipment truck painted. The Wildcat images were gone, and now it looks like a Tiger truck, and it's a tough place to play here. If a team isn't ready when they come in here, you can bet Jerry Claiborne had them ready to play. But if they weren't ready, just all the animosity they feel from these people in here will get them going.
Second down 7. There was a clock problem, and it's been corrected. 4 on the rollout. Pump. And he's down inside the 20-yard line. Darrell Phillips with his 4th quarterback sack of the year. Phillips, a junior from Franklin, Louisiana. Loss of 4 on the play.
Take a look at this offensive line for Kentucky. Darrell Phillips, tremendous quickness. He ran down Lars Tate last week on a screen. Gore needs a hand onto that football. He almost lost the ball.
Now back to the 20-yard line where it is 3rd down 10. They lost 4, but spotted it back up there at forward progress to the 20. So we'll call it 3rd down 10. And here's Hicks. You see the good balance, but he doesn't have enough. He gets to the 25, and down he goes. The LSU defense has stopped him. 3 downs, and out goes Kentucky.
Watch Darrell Phillips again, number 62, and he's working against 71 Brad Myers. Stays on his feet, makes initial contact with Higgs, but couldn't get enough of him really to bring Mark down. You got to get a full piece of that young rascal to drag him to the turf.
Jay Tesser with the punt, averaging only 37 yards a pop this year. It's coming down to SMU transfer Jimmy Young. He bobbles it at the 21. Out to the 31-yard line goes number 5, Jimmy Young, a sophomore from San Antonio. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System.
Burger King introduces a new burger with a genuine Western flavor, the Bullseye Barbecue Burger. 2 flame-broiled burgers on a Western bun with melted cheese, sizzling bacon, and topped with a smoky Western-style barbecue sauce. The Bullseye Barbecue Burger won't be around for long, so get it while you can. You only have to ride as far west as Burger King, the best food for fast times.
Hey, I didn't know this. Atlanta's talking trade. And look who just walked out of camp. For my money, the Sporting News is the only way to get the whole story.
Fans, get the whole story of football, baseball, basketball, and hockey in the Sporting News. Call toll-free 1-800-257-1234. You'll get 40 big issues of the Sporting News for 4 easy payments of only $5.45. That's half off the regular subscription price. So call now 1-800-257-1234. 1-800-257-1234.
Tommy Hodson, the quarterback for the LSU Tigers offense. He's thrown for more than 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns already this year, and he likes to connect with number 82, Wendell Davis. 40 catches, but only 1 touchdown receiving. Nacho Albergano leads a very good offensive line. Andelsek also an excellent at the right guard position. 1st down 10, LSU from the 31-yard line. Hodson. It's complete to the 49-yard line. Ron Mack stopping Raji McGee, a 20-yard completion. McGee, the senior from Bogalusa, who doesn't catch the ball much, gets it, opening this game today.
Little counter trap action. Hodson throwing to the slot man, who ran a deep outside pattern. Wendell Davis running off the defensive back, and Ron Mack almost jarred that ball loose.
Incredible concentration by Raji McGee. 1st down 10 LSU. Right at the 50-yard line. Opening moments from Tiger Stadium. And here's Harvey Williams, the sophomore. He's got 10, 11 yards. To the 38-yard line of Kentucky. David Johnson with the tackle, and sophomore Harvey Williams, also from Texas, Hempstead, Texas. Let's watch this now. Kentucky doing a fine job fighting along the line of scrimmage. Good penetration there by Massey. And David Johnson here saves a touchdown. Fights off the block of Tony Moss and reaches his arm out there and drags down Harvey Williams. Another 1st down for LSU. 2 plays, 2 first downs from the 38 of Kentucky. Kentucky defense has been great so far. They'll be tested today, as you can see, by this excellent LSU offensive football team. Here again. Extra effort gets him inside the 35 to the 33.5. And let's look at that Kentucky defensive team and how they line up here today. They play what's called the wide tackle 6, an 8-man front, as some people like to call it. Tony Massey, a key player over there, kind of a rover back type, as Tim will tell you as we get into it. Jerry Reese, probably the best athlete. Good inside linebackers in Chris Chenault and Jeff Kramer. Kramer kind of the team leader there. And an exciting player, number 24, David Johnson on the corner. You'll see a lot of him today. Second down 6. LSU from the 34-yard line of Kentucky. Here's Harvey Williams again. Close to the first down. His extra effort may have gotten it. Needed to get to the 28-yard line. He was tackled by 92 Vic Adams, the defensive guards for Kentucky. And they'll really be tested today, those guards.
I think LSU's going to try to run the ball inside. I don't think there's any question about that. Right now, what they're doing is they're lining 2 wide receivers to the wide side of the field, trying to stretch out that 8-man front of Kentucky. Kentucky now walking a man out, putting a man on the slot. Very concerned about Wendell Davis. And what Hodgson is doing when he comes to the line of scrimmage is, I think, making a decision at that point. He's looking at 7 people instead of 8 up front. They'll try to run the football. As Kentucky tries to sneak that guy in off the slot to make it an 8-man front, look for Hodgson to go and throw the ball outside.
LSU comes into this game after 3 very emotional, tough ball games. Ohio State University, they got the tie. They beat Florida. A little flat was LSU, but they won it in the fourth quarter. And then last week against Georgia, a fourth quarter win. Third down 1. Penalty markers are down. It looked like the right tackle, maybe Robert Packnett, moved before the snap, and that'll be a big aid to the Kentucky defense here, as everything had been going LSU's way. Dick Burleson will give us the announcement.
Dead ball foul. Encroachment against the offense.
Look for number 74, Robert Packnett, on the right guard position. There he goes.
There he goes, just a little bit early. Pete Mangurian, the offensive line coach here at LSU, has had his hands full with Ralph Norwood going down in the Ohio State game. That caused them to have to shuffle their tackles. If I was going to try to get pressure on LSU, you could look for Kentucky to try to do it around Packnett or Hubert.
Third down 6. This is a good time. There are those receivers over on the left side, top of the screen. Hodgson will throw on third and 6. Has some time. It is complete for the first down to the 26-yard line to his favorite target, the 41st catch of the year for Wendell Davis, the senior from Shreveport, playing with sore ribs today.
See Davis in the slot, running to the outside, a choice route. Jay Dortch doing a good job underneath, running with him. But you see Davis coming back toward the football. This guy is, I think he's the best wide receiver in America today. He works so well to get open.
Head coach Mike Archer says Wendell Davis is the best receiver he's ever been around. He saw some greatness during his assistant coaching days at the University of Miami. Checked off at the line. Kentucky moving around before the snap. Hodgson was pressured. Had to get rid of it early. I think that was 54, Jerry Reese, who got back there in his face. If not, Carwell Gardner. They were back there staring him right in the eye.
I know there are people around the country that whose ire is ruffled by the fact that I would say something about Wendell being the best in the country, but what I like about the guy is a complete athlete. He gets open, he knows how to run a pattern, great body control, he'll block.
That's what you really like.
And here's what I like the best. He catches the ball coming inside. You know, he's not a wimp.
Spoken by the true defensive back there. The handoff in the backfield to Fuller. Eddie Fuller, 33, hit by 53, Jeff Kramer, for a loss, and Kentucky's defense has stiffened here a bit. They were aided a little bit by the motion penalty, and now a nice defensive stand.
Good front three. Nacho Albergamo, number 56, doing a nice job. Endel Seck, who was All-ACC last year, trying to hold Kramer and Chenault out of there. Kramer is one of those just good, hard, tough, blue-collar linebackers. He's playing for Larry Smith, and Smith was a great leader for him last year on defense.
Third down 12, LSU from the Kentucky 28-yard line. Here's pressure. Look at Hodgson get out of trouble. Has his man, and it's complete at the 12-yard line. And that's Raji McGee, covered by David Johnson, a gain of 16 yards.
Let's see it again. If you're concerned about pressure, one of the things that you can do is move the pocket, and that's what they did here. This is the design rollout. Gets Hodgson a little bit closer to McGee, and you knew Kentucky had to be thinking about Wendell Davis, and McGee comes up with the second catch of the day. Split Moss and Davis to the top of the screen. Number 6 is Moss, Tony Moss. It's first down 10. Big hole. Harvey Williams, touchdown, Tigers! Harvey Williams' 6th touchdown rushing. He'd been in a slump, and this could break this self-proclaimed best running back in the SEC out of his slump. He's got great talent and great speed. He left LSU in rushing as a freshman and has had a little bit of a confidence problem as of late, Bob, hanging on to the football, but nice run there.
6 minutes, 29 seconds to go in the first quarter from Tiger Stadium, 7-0 LSU.
As we go to commercial here.
Introducing new Alka-Seltzer Plus Nighttime Cold Medicine.
It helps me go to sleep, which is difficult when you can't breathe.
Helped clear my nose right up. It really did.
New Alka-Seltzer Plus Nighttime Cold Medicine. A new nighttime formula without alcohol helps put your cold to sleep fast.
It helped clear my sinuses through here where the pressure builds up so I could breathe and sleep better. A clear head and a good night's sleep.
New Alka-Seltzer Plus Nighttime Cold Medicine helps put your cold to sleep fast.
Delta Airlines flight attendant Irene Lockwoody loves to fly.
Are you still here? My son was supposed to meet me. Well, I'll wait with you. That kid is always late.
What she loves most are the people she meets.
He must have got caught in the rain. He was even born late. Irene! Ma.
Irene is what Delta's all about.
Irene. Yes? Are you married? Yep. 2 kids. Late again, Joey.
Love to fly and it shows.
We have highlights for you from the Big Ten game between Iowa and Michigan. Ann Arbor, Michigan, where the Wolverines are trying to bounce back from that disappointing loss a week ago to Michigan State. Quarterback Demetrius Brown threw 7 interceptions. This time he keeps the ball himself, goes in for the go-ahead touchdown. It's Michigan 6, Iowa nothing. Back to Bob and Tim at LSU.
Harvey Williams scored the touchdown for LSU, his 6th on the year. The point after was good, and LSU leads with 6:29 to go in the first quarter, 7-0 from Tiger Stadium, the first time they played here in the morning in history. LSU, and they're off to a good start. Fans are jammed in here to Tiger Stadium, and Kentucky will get the kickoff once again from Ron Lewis. Dean Smith watches it sail over his head. They'll bring it out to the 20 once again. Let's have a look at that touchdown run again and the offensive line play of the LSU Tigers.
You're going to see Andelsek, 76, blocking down, Packnett blocking down, Kitchen. Now watch Ruffin Rodriguez. Pow! That's the block that opens it up. Harvey, every running back would like to see pay dirt that way. David Johnson can't get his head in front, so Harvey Williams runs through the arm tackle. LSU looking good on that drive, mixing in the run and the pass, converting the third down situation.
Ivy Joe Hunter, number 32 in the backfield now for Kentucky. Not much success from him either, out to about the 22-yard line. Tackled by 97 Tommy Clapp. So it's Hunter and Murray who are in the backfield. And there's Rodriguez, his dad, former player at LSU also. Be proud of the effort on that play.
Rodriguez, if I remember correctly, is replacing Keith Melanson. I love those Cajun names.
Almost as much as I like that Cajun food.
But Ruffin qualifies. That's a good first name, Ruffin. That's all right.
Second down, 8. Fake on the reverse, and out for a gain of about 8 yards goes Ivy Joe Hunter. Willie Bryant makes the stop. They fake the reverse to D. Smith, and D. Smith, number 19, who came around to take the fake, can keep you honest because D. Smith can score about any way you want, returning kicks, rushing, catching the ball. Ivy Joe gets about 8 of them. Now Higgs back in. It's 22 Higgs and 35 Murray in the backfield for Kentucky. On 3rd down 2, Kentucky yet to come up with a first down offensively. 5:21 to go, quarter number 1. Power set formation. Here comes Higgs. Good cut. First down. And a little more to the 36-yard line comes Mark Hicks, the little 5'7" running backs, a gain of 8, stopped by Carrier and Jackson for LSU.
For the last couple of years, we've been watching a fullback for Kentucky named Chris Derry. Now watch Andy Murray, number 35. Get that right there, gets a block on a linebacker, cuts him down, and opens up the hole for Higgs. And when Higgs sees it upfield, he's northbound. Not too much zigging and zagging with Mark Higgs.
First down, 10 Wildcats, their first of the game. Hand off to the fullback. Andy Murray gets one of his rare carries. And out to about the 38-yard line. Kentucky starting to develop a little bit of ball control here. They could not get a first down on their first possession. And Glenn Forbes, the junior college transfer who's replacing the injured Kevin Dooley, who, by the way, is up and about. And he says he'd like to be back to play Georgia next week. However, most people think that he probably won't be able to return that quickly to the Kentucky lineup. Second down. Ivy Joe Hunter outside. First down, Kentucky out to the 47-yard line, tackled by number 11, Chris Carrier.
This is the first time that we've seen Kentucky actually size up to their opponents. They've played with smaller linemen all 4 years we've watched, and there you see Greg Kunkel and Dermontti Dawson doing a fine job on that outside on the perimeter of LSU, and Ivy Joe Hunter just taking it to the corner right now. Their first 11, especially their front line up front offensively, is as good as there is in the SEC. Just not much doubt.
Here comes Mark Higgs. Needs a block. Didn't get it. A great defensive play by 27 Guidry. He jumped over the block of 35 Andy Murray and stopped Mark Higgs. There are not going to be many people who are missed by the blocking of Andy Murray, but that time Guidry with the big play.
Guidry did the same thing last week at Georgia. Very aggressive cornerback. He's a 4-year starter. We saw him play his first game against Florida 4 years ago, and he has just been a perennial steady player here at LSU.
Loss of 3, second down 13. Kentucky trailing 7-0. 3:26 to go first quarter. 4, shovel pass, Mark Higgs. Look at the pursuing LSU defense. They weren't fooled for a second. Darren Marlborough led the way. Number 90, the left inside linebacker.
Let's watch it again. Kentucky using this play like a draw. You're watching number 52, Ron Sancho, who has just been exceptional in the last couple of games. Murray does a good job of sticking with him, but Sancho is player of the week last week in the SEC, and they felt he should have been the player of the week against Florida.
Third down 11, 4 to throw. Good time. Has a man who was bumped. Nice catch. At the 30-yard line, it's Tim Jones. What a nice catch under intense pressure. He was hit hard by Carrier. Gain of 23.
Thor makes a nice throw here. Puts a soft touch on it. One of the things about Thor, he's got such a big gun, he has trouble with touch, but lays this up over the top. Bryant in perfect shape. Woo! Don't let them know they hurt you, Timmy. Pop up.
That was only the 5th catch of the year for Tim Jones. First and 10, Kentucky moving the ball. Inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line goes Ivy Joe Hunter, tackled by 54 Eric Hill, the right outside linebacker for the Tigers.
Most secondaries don't do a good job of doing what Willie Bryant did on that last play, Bob. Their cornerbacks after the jam don't get much depth. They hang up around that 5 or 10-yard area. Bryant, though, dropped back in perfect position. That had to be the perfectly executed pass and catch for that to be a completion. Beautiful play.
Now 2 tailbacks in there for Kentucky, Higgs and Ivy Joe Hunter. Give to Higgs. Wanted to go outside, but the LSU defense too quick. Clint James made the penetration and the stop. He's playing with a sore ankle. Sophomore from New Orleans, number 70.
Well, Pete Jenkins, the defensive coordinator and defensive line coach for LSU, talks with pride about these guys because they're replacing 3 guys that are currently playing in the NFL or will be playing shortly in the NFL. And Clint James and Carl Dunbar split time on that right side, and they're replacing Carl Wilson, who was an All-SEC performer last year.
Kentucky has run 11 of their 13 plays. It's third down 8. They're going to pass for the 3rd time. Incomplete. Open was Tim Jones, but they could not make the connection at the 18-yard line. Ford does have a 30-06 on his right shoulder there. By the way, Glenn Ford, that was third down, so they'll bring in the field goal chance here. Glenn Ford has a sore right arm. He says it doesn't affect his passing much, but he's bruised up a little bit in the upper right arm. Here's Joey Worley. Most people think he's as good a kicker as there is in the SEC. 8 out of 11. His long one this year is 49 yards. He's a senior from Oakwood, Virginia. 45-yard attempt. Hits it well. Going to be good, and Kentucky is on the board. LSU 7, Kentucky 3, 1:19 to go, first quarter. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System.
We'd like to borrow your TV picture to show you. Clear picture scan. And pause. Picture in picture. Even 4 different channels previewed at once. All from this Curtis Mathis digital VCR. Part of the exciting and affordable new generation of video products at your nearby Curtis Mathis Center. Oh, you can have your picture back now, if you still want it back. Curtis Mathis, you've never known us like this before.
They're back. Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. 10:30 Eastern on
Superstation TBS.
Sunday.
Tonight on World Championship Wrestling.
I'm Missy Hyatt, and watch World Championship Wrestling tonight because you're going to be seeing the Rock and Roll Express go down by the 2 of the 4 horsemen, Iron Anderson and Tully Blanchard.
World Championship Wrestling, 6:05 Eastern on the Superstation tonight.
LSU quarterback Tommy Hodson's thrown for over 1,300 yards this year, and his coach, Mike Archer, who spent 8 years at Miami, knows good quarterbacks when he sees them, tells us about Hodson.
I was around 3 great quarterbacks at Miami, and Jim Kelly, Bernie Kosar, and Vinny Testaverde. And when they stepped in the huddle, there were 10 sets of eyes that knew whatever he did was going to be successful for that offense. I see the same thing with our offensive football team. They have great confidence in Tom Hodson. He's taken some vicious shots in the past 2 years and been able to get back up off the ground. And last year's Kentucky game had his tongue severed, almost cut in half. Came back in and led us to a victory. So he's a very tough young man and a very good football player and a great young man.
Mike Archer on Tom Hodson. There's his backup, Mickey Guidry, who comes in and plays a couple of series a game. And Guidry's not bad either here.
No, he's not. As a matter of fact, on 37% of his chances, he's led LSU to score, so he's effective also.
Sammy Martin. He's a great kickoff return guy. You see some nifty moving by Sammy Martin, number 23. Martin is a senior from New Orleans. He got that one back 22 yards. His average is 32 yards on the kickoff return. He was hit by number 26, Ron Robinson. Last minute here of the first quarter, LSU leads 7-0. So their ratio of lead over Kentucky not as good as they've been on the year. 59-15. LSU has been explosive in the first quarter. 7-3 LSU. Here's Martin. Quick pitch. Nice defensive play out on the right side. That was number 45, Chris Chenault.
Good hustle, and this is what I like about Wendell Davis. He comes back and gets a great crack-back block that enables that run to develop. And Chris Chenault, probably the most talented linebacker on Kentucky's team. He's a good man-to-man coverage fella, great athlete, and powerful when you're running straight at him.
It's second down, 8 LSU from the 29-yard line of the Tigers, leading 7-3. Motion with Sammy Martin. Throwing on the run, incomplete, intended for Martin. Covering number 6, Tony Massey. There's a man I really admire. He's playing hurt today, a sore groin, sore wrist. They said that the look of him after the Georgia game, you couldn't even look at his body.
It looked like he'd been in a fight with a pit bull. He might have been between the hedges there, yeah. But Sammy Martin, I tell you what, he's going to stay beat up. He's a running back. They say if they get him real wet, he weighs 170 pounds, but he's got explosive speed and quickness. He's 4.40, and he just makes people miss.
Third down, 8 LSU. Hodson couldn't find anybody. He was under pressure back there. Wanted to get it out to his tight end, number 49, Brian Tinchin. So the Kentucky defense stiffens now. LSU leads by a score of 7-3, and LSU is going to have to punt the ball for the first time today. D. Smith, number 19. He is exciting. D. Smith has scored almost every way possible. He scored a touchdown and returning a punt, 3 rushing the ball, 1 catching the ball. Frank with a beauty, a cannon shot. Smith, fair catch, lets it go over his head. Look at this. This could be a record breaker. We'll check and see. Matt DeFrank hit it like an artillery shell, 68 yards. They down it at the 2. 15 seconds to go in the quarter. We'll be right back.
This is a 19-inch television with a picture as crisp and clear as any you'll find. Now imagine a picture just as crisp, just as clear, but larger. In fact, it's 86% larger than even a 26-inch screen. It's the world's first 35-inch direct-view television, the television that only one manufacturer could put together. Mitsubishi.
69-yard punt by Matt DeFrank. The LSU record is 76 yards, so it was near a record, and it was probably more important than that to LSU right now because they put Kentucky at the Kentucky 2 with 15 seconds to go in the first quarter. Fumble, LSU ball. Mark Higgs coughed it up at the 5.
The offensive coaches for Kentucky wondered what could be worse than lining up on your own 2. We see it here. Tommy Clapp knocks it out, and LSU's all over the football. Just very, very intense, heads-up, aggressive play by the LSU defense. Ronnie Sancho comes up with the football, and opportunistic play.
First and goal from the 5, LSU leading 7-3. 6 seconds to go in the first quarter. In motion, they give to Fuller. Stopped at the 5. They like Eddie Fuller down to the goal line. He's the biggest of the tailbacks. Kramer and Robinson combined on the stop. That's the last play of the first quarter. LSU leading 7-3 and threatening following the Mark Higgs fumble at the 5-yard line. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System.
We're not a company, but we'll give you a chance to work where there's always a challenge. We'll give you opportunities to learn, to develop, to perfect skills that you thought were beyond your reach. We'll help you build a career that can reward you for the rest of your life. We're not a company, we're your country. We're the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
I think you're really going to like this house. It's a new style we call the ranch. The sun deck is a...
Mom! Hey, Mom!
Hey, Mom. This is Janet.
Cool house.
Come on, buddy. Want to see Grandma? Let's go see Grandma. Watch your step there, Mama.
Luther, I've been walking up and down these steps for 40 years.
Bob Neal and Tim Foley with you at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It will be second down 5, second down goal, LSU, after the Mark Higgs fumble.
LSU gets in this area of the football field. They like to keep it on the ground, but they've got a couple of play passes they've used to this point with receivers crossing, motion. but most likely they'll keep the football on the ground.
Power eye. McGee's the front man in the eye. Hudson to throw it down here. Touchdown, Raji McGee. Remember the Ohio State game when Archer decided to throw and was criticized, of course, as LSU ended up with a 13-13 tie. He said, you know, you can be a goat or a hero depending on the execution. Well, that time, LSU executed it perfectly, and it's a touchdown. Left-footer David Browndyke in for the point after. Sophomore from Dallas, Texas. It's good. LSU 14, Kentucky 3.
Take a look at this touchdown now. The problem for Kentucky's defense is the fact that the flanker is lined up in the backfield now. The flanker and the corner and the safety should be in and out, and the tight end and the flanker. But nobody picks up Raji McGee. He comes clean. A mental error by the Kentucky defense. 6 points for LSU. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System.
All the right parts in all the right places. Napa's putting smiles on American faces.
Don't miss our biggest sale of the year. It's Car Care Days at your Napa Auto Parts store. Just about everything you need to keep your car in great shape is on sale now. Get special prices on quality Napa parts. Check your local newspaper for sale items at your Napa Auto Parts store and save at our Car Care Days sale.
All the right parts in all the right places. Napa.
I'd no sooner settle for a flake in my hair than a spot on my uniform.
You pass the test, you're good grooming, have the look of success. Your head and shoulders above the rest.
Regular shampoos just rinse flakes. Head & Shoulders goes to the source to help stop flakes.
And that's doing it right.
Your head and shoulders above the rest.
Well, Kentucky finds himself trailing LSU 14-3 in the opening moments of the second quarter. That's because of the Mark Higgs fumble at the 5-yard line of Kentucky after a 69-yard punt by LSU's Matt DeFrank. Bolden, D. Smith are back. Smith can't hold on to it. They'll bring it out to the 20 again. Ron Lewis doing a great job kicking off today. He had been struggling. Let's look at it again. The touchdown.
See number 26, Ronnie Robinson. To his right is number 8, Ron Mack. Depending on the call of defense, they've got to cover the tight end Kitchen and number 80, Raji McGee. Nobody runs with McGee, so it's a mental error, and LSU's got an easy score. When you're playing this LSU football team in this stadium, you have to make them work for everything they get. Jerry Claiborne knew that coming in, and I know he hates to see that easy touchdown.
About 3 yards off the left side for 32, Ivy Joe Hunter, the junior from Gainesville, Florida. Now it's very important for the Wildcats and for Glenn Ford, their quarterback, to get a sustained drive here.
Jerry Eisman, the man that's calling the plays for Kentucky, has been with Claiborne for over 20 years now, and the cards he can deal are drastically limited by an inexperienced quarterback.
Penalty markers down on the 2nd down and 8 from the 22-yard line. And there's Raji McGee with his touchdown reception. He has been very active in this game, almost always. You see it's Hodson Davis ad infinitum. And if he doesn't go to Davis, Hodson likes to go to Brian Kinchen.
Ball start.
And much less regularly to Raji McGee or Tony Moss. But McGee's a senior and a fine pass catcher, as we've seen today.
And I think Mike Archer's trying to spread out the coverages of teams that they will be playing. Tommy Hodson's got, if there's a shaft of light in there to Wendell Davis, that's where he wants to go with the football. And I think Mike's trying to get him out of that habit.
2nd down, 13. Trying to run it with Ida Joe Hunter. Broke the tackle for a gain of about 5. Back to Atlanta on our studios on this college football update.
Thank you, Bob. Back to Ann Arbor, Michigan. Highlights of Iowa and Michigan. Quarterback Demetrius Brown for the Wolverines looking for John Colasar across the middle. Finds him. Then a nice catch and a good move to find the end zone. It is 16-0 Michigan. Back to Bob and Tim.
Demetrius Brown with 7 interceptions in the Michigan loss last week to Michigan State. A little bit more on track today. 3rd down, 8 Kentucky from their own 22. On the draw, this is Higgs. He went down but collected himself. Only his hand touched. That meant he was not down. So he stayed afloat and got it to the 32. 9-yard gain and a 1st down, Wildcats.
You know, this turf is a little different than the normal grass turf. They do a nice job keeping it groomed, but it's harder than other grass fields that I've been on, and you see Higgs here skidding out.
But he talked about his balance.
Oh, but look at that. Isn't that amazing athletic ability? And whoops, there's Chris Carrier to say hi.
So Higgs with a 9-yard run. He was the man who fumbled at the Kentucky 5. Here's Ivy Joe Hunter at the 35. 4-yard gain that time. Greg Jackson makes the stop for LSU. You like Higgs and Hunter, and Al Baker's a very good redshirt freshman, but Baker was highly recruited from Cadiz, Kentucky. Baker was injured and missed the spring and the two-a-days this year, and so Baker hasn't been able to work in that rotation. But with Higgs and Hunter and Baker, those are 3 fine tailbacks.
Excellent back, and it keeps the heat off of any one back.
On 2nd down, 5, 4th pass. Can't find his man there. Sancho, ever-present Sancho, delivering the pressure. It was tipped by 29 Willie Bryant. Speaking of Sancho, 52, I like what Mike Archer said of Sancho. He says, penalty marker's down. He said, you know, he walks into your office here, you wouldn't think he was a great linebacker. He looks like he's a member of the band, physically.
Looks bad, plays good. It's kind of like that seafood gumbo we had over at Phil's Oyster Bar the other night. You know, when you look at it, it just doesn't look too delectable, but boy, once you get into it, it tastes great.
That was part of our 19-course meal over there. I'm never eating again.
Sancho reminds me of a guy named Doug Swift that was a tremendous, great linebacker back in Miami, but, you know, never really worked out too hard. Didn't look like much a foot, but when the ball was snapped, he had the ability to make the plays, and that's all you care about. I mean, you don't get any points for pictures.
Here's Dick Burleson with the announcement on the penalty. He's going to go against Kentucky.
Offensive pass interference. Lost it down.
And they spot the ball back at the Kentucky 20-yard line.
That play started out was going to develop as a screen. Kentucky has hurt LSU screening the football in the last couple of years, but Clapp fell off right away, read it very well, and there was nothing there for 4.
The loss of down makes it 3rd down, 21. Here's the draw. Higgs needs some space. The LSU defenders seem to be filling all the empty spaces. Tommy Clapp made the stop that time. It'll be 4th down and longer than 10. And punting situation, and in comes Jay Tesser, who has been inconsistent on the year. There's the SMU transfer, number 5, Jimmy Young. Here's Tesser. He did have a 53-yarder the first time. Greg Jackson is also back deep as twin safety. Tesser again with an artillery shot. Jimmy Young inside his 20. Spot him at the 19. Needs to block outside. Good coverage by Kentucky. Kentucky's been allowing, coming into this game, less than a yard per return. The man who made the stop that time, Jay Amchoff, a 52-yarder. We'll be right back.
Lafitte, Louisiana and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Lafitte means flat bottom boat racing and a Cajun feast that'll set your mouth on fire. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer, cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place, an Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
It doesn't get any better than this.
How do other Japanese imports see the 1988 Dodge Ram 50? To Toyota, Ram 50's roomier standard cab looks like this. To Mazda, Ram 50's more powerful standard engine looks like this. And to Nissan, Ram 50's bigger standard payload looks like this. So if you're looking for more than you bargained for, you'll find it at your Dodge dealer, along with the roomy new Ram 50 sports cab. Dodge Import Trucks, we're going places.
This portion of SEC football is brought to you by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. And by Dodge Trucks and the new Dodge Ram 50, we're going places. Along with Tim Foley, this is Bob Neal from Tiger Stadium In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, LSU leading 14-3, 11:49 to go, second quarter. From the 24-yard line, LSU. A 52-yard punt by Jay Tesser. He had a 53-52 today. Here's the pitch to Harvey Williams. He fell down on the turf, so I guess you live by the turf, you die by the turf. Higgs had fallen down for Kentucky, and now Harvey Williams goes down.
It's always tough when you see a young man with Harvey's skill and ability get into that rut where you start thinking too much about doing the right thing. You know, I know one thing he's thinking right now is I can't fumble the ball, I can't fumble the ball. And what usually happens then is you fumble the ball. It's just like a defensive back thing, and I got to catch it, I got to catch it.
Second down, 11. Hodson doesn't like what he sees of the Kentucky defense. You know how much they blitz. The checkoff. They picked him up well. The pass is complete. That's Tony Moss. He has the speed. He slips and goes down trying to avoid the tackle at the 40. Tony Moss, the 5'7" sophomore, gets 36 yards on the reception.
Hodson goes to a man-to-man route to his outside receivers, runs the slot on a little outside pattern. Usually, Mark Sellers, a free safety. Free safeties aren't real good man-to-man coverage people. Hodson saw him in a man-to-man situation on Tony Moss and tried to put him in a spot, which he did.
First and 10 LSU from the 40-yard line of Kentucky. Explosive LSU Tigers. It's a reverse. Kentucky is there. Back there was 98 Carwell Gardner to slam him down. So big loss on the play of 9 yards.
What's Carwell here? Carwell Gardner, well coached, sees the handoff, fights his way upfield. What you're hoping for, what Ed Zombrecker, the man that's calling the plays for LSU, was hoping for there is to catch Kentucky in a blitz, catch them running after the football, chasing the football, forgetting the detail of their assignment. Carwell said, I'm staying home.
Tony Moss was the ball carrier who went down. He was the man who caught the 36-yard pass reception. So give him a net of 25 after the loss. It's second down, 19. Hodson under pressure, incomplete at the 39-yard line. He tried to get it to Brian Kinchin. This Kentucky, Tim, you said so many times that Kentucky lives and dies by the blitz. When they come up with that 8-man front, you just don't know who's going to be in your face.
Jerry Claiborne turns Terry Strock loose. Got a lot of confidence in his defensive coordinator, and Terry believes in pressure. If you can get somebody in the quarterback's face, he can't put the ball right on the money, so you don't have to be quite as good covering. But the problem is, if you miss a tackle downfield, as happened a few plays ago, it's a big game.
Third down, 19. Hodson, 5 of 9 passing the ball today. He's been under a lot of pressure. Picked off at the 23-yard line. The man with the ball is number 8, Ron Mack. And that brought the crowd, who had been making a lot of noise, to an almost unearthly silence there. The quarterback pressure was by Jerry Reese.
4 of them cheered.
Those are the Kentucky people.
Wendell Davis taking that inside, breaking it outside, lost his footing, went down. Ball was thrown well. However, there was only a white jersey there to welcome it.
So 2 turnovers in the game now. Mark Higgs fumbled for Kentucky, and now the interception. Ron Mack picked off Tom Hodson. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System.
This is a 19-inch television with a picture as crisp and clear as any you'll find. Now imagine a picture just as crisp, just as clear, but larger. In fact, it's 86% larger than even a 26-inch screen. It's the world's first 35-inch direct-view television, the television that only one manufacturer could put together. Mitsubishi.
Special guest Jeff Van Note talks about the NFL strike, plus a World Series update. The Sports Page, 11 Eastern on Superstation TBS, Sunday night.
Celebrate a 2-night basketball spectacular. Perennial NBA championship contender Milwaukee Bucks the always devastating Soviet national squad, and Europe's premier pro club, Tracer Milan, clash in this first-ever basketball challenge, the McDonald's Basketball Open. 8:05 Eastern on Superstation TBS, Friday and Saturday night.
You see the end of the shift here. Victor Jones shifting over, getting in place. Hodson actually changing the protection, the blocking up front, sensing a blitz. It's not a blitz. Throws it out to Wendell, and you can't see Wendell. He goes down before he comes into the picture, but Mack back there in perfect shape. Hodson throws it, knocked down by Jerry Reese. Jerry is coming. He'll get there sometime today before it's over.
So, turnover apiece puts it back in Kentucky's hands. Ivy Joe Hunter broke a tackle, but he only gets about 4 yards on the play. Chris Carrier there to do the cleanup action. 5 tackles on the day for Chris Carrier. And Ron Mack picked the ball off for Kentucky, his second interception of the year. But speaking of defensive back, Chris Carrier is a key man in the secondary for LSU.
He's kind of the quarterback of the secondary. Very good football sense, coordinates the coverage, and he missed a couple of series in the Georgia game, and when he was out, they had real trouble on defense. So he is an important factor psychologically.
Chris Carrier, the senior, he's number 11. This is second down 6. It's complete. Nice grab there by Ivy Joe Hunter out near the 40-yard line. And it's a first down for Kentucky. Kentucky looks as though they're able to move the ball on this tough LSU defense. Kentucky moved it down only to come up short on the third down play and had to go to a field goal late in the first quarter. Barnett shaken up for Kentucky.
Oliver Barnett, one of the big play people for Kentucky on defense. Kentucky's biggest liability is that they are very thin all the way across the board in terms of depth.
On the first down, handoff to the fullback Murray. He gets it to about the 43-yard line. Andy Murray, the sophomore from Louisville, Kentucky. Primarily a blocking back. He had over 100 yards in a game earlier this year, however. He can run it if they need him to.
And the fact that Kentucky's moving the football, I'm sure doesn't surprise Jerry Claiborne. They're number 1 in the SEC in total offense. Their quarterback had a shoulder problem early, Dooley, and they spent a lot more time working on the run than they had planned to, and it's turned out to have served them well.
Second down 8. 4. Throws on the run. It's complete to the tight end, number 87, Martin Pennington. And Pennington gets the first down inside LSU territory. One of the Tigers shaken up on the play.
Ran the split end deep to the outside, dragged the tight end. Ford didn't see him initially. He was open all the way, but as he got into that open space in the short outside area, Guidry came back up to hit him. I didn't catch the number of the LSU player that went down there, Bob.
We'll hold it until we're sure. It's hard to read as you see him there. The last thing we want is Mama thinking it's her kid shaken up when we're not sure. So we'll keep our glasses on this and let you know. I believe... Well, I'm not going to say yet. We'll take a commercial timeout, identify the player, let you know his condition when we return.
How do other Japanese imports see the 1988 Dodge Ram 50? To Toyota, Ram 50's roomier standard cab looks like this. To Mazda, Ram 50's more powerful standard engine looks like this. And to Nissan, Ram 50's bigger standard payload looks like this. So if you're looking for more than you bargained for, you'll find it at your Dodge dealer, along with the roomy new Ram 50 Sports Cab. Dodge Import Trucks, we're going places.
It's so easy for you to do what you do. You got goodness and power, so strong, so cool. Let's moderate that a perfect combination of smoothness and strength. You're a smooth operator like a bull at the drink. Let's moderate that.
The nation's longest losing streak is 35 and counting. Columbia with a ball, but a fake punt. Matt Pollard to John Robinson, a transfer from SMU. He goes 37 yards for a touchdown that ties the game. The last team to lose to Columbia was Yale, but that was 4 years ago. They're celebrating so far. Back to Bob and Tim.
Mike Merla, the player who was shaken up for LSU. Mike Merla, an inside linebacker who's a sophomore from New Orleans. His right leg, we don't know exactly what the condition is, but we'll report to you. Here is Mark Higgs. Look at his acceleration. To the 40 and inside. to the 39-yard line, and Chris Carrier with his 11th tackle of the afternoon for LSU. Make that his 6th tackle of the afternoon for LSU.
One way or another, he's been a busy rascal.
Higgs has 41 yards rushing thus far today. Mark Higgs, the workhorse, but he's alternating at the tailback spot with Ivy Joe Hunter, who's in there now. 32 is Ivy Joe Hunter. And he's hit at the line of scrimmage. No gain. The man who made the penetration and the stop, Darrell Phillips, the nose guard. Number 62.
Darrell's playing for Henry Thomas, who's dominated centers in the SEC for a few years here at LSU, and he was really a surprise. An inside linebacker. A few short months ago. Now he got him up front, and great quickness, uses his hands real well, keeps clean, and moves the ball.
Big third down play, 3rd down 4. The play fake, 4 to pass. Oh, he had his man wide open, couldn't hit him. D. Smith was open. Possible touchdown reception at the 18, and it was overthrown. And it'll be, let's see, the ball is at the 40, so they'll bring Tesser in here to punt it. Tesser has punted 12 of 20 punts coming into this game down inside the 20-yard line, so he's good at what they call pooch kicking.
Good job of faking by 4, wide open. Just lay it up there, let him run under it.
Off the side of the foot of Tesser, depending on where that ball went out of bounds. There's a penalty marker down. They're saying it went out at the 19. Penalty marker is down at the line of scrimmage.
Look at offsides LSU.
If that's the case, it was 4th down 4. It'll be a big break for Kentucky. That was only a 21-yard punt, but remember Tesser was trying to get it out inside the 20. Didn't intend to shank it. Ben the White Hack, Dick Burleson, the referee, will tell us exactly what the infraction is. If it's a 5-yard penalty against LSU, it'll be a first down Kentucky. Personal foul is the call against the defense. It'll be a first down for Kentucky. So Kentucky's drive stalls. They bring in Tesser. He shanks it, but a personal foul call against the Tigers will move the ball downfield 15 yards. And they'll spot it at just inside the 25-yard line. So big break for Kentucky, trailing LSU 14-3, 6:37 to go, second quarter.
Archer monitors the calls of both offense and defense, but gives his coaches a lot of flexibility. 34 years old. He's under a lot of pressure for a 34-year-old.
First down, 10, Kentucky. Mark Higgs. Look at the penetration, and then look at the moves. Higgs gets a couple out of it, not much more. But LSU's defense not only spreads out quickly, they make the penetration beyond the line of scrimmage. The tackle will go to Nicky Hazard, number 48.
And an excellent job by Kevin Guidry firing upfield. A lot of cornerbacks. They're not as big as some of the other players, and they don't mind being tenacious when the receiver isn't looking, but Kevin Guidry, very, very quick to support and take on that block or turn the play in.
Gain of 1, second down 9, Kentucky. Ford going on the run. It's complete to Murray. Murray dives to the 15-yard line, close to the first down. He'll be about half a yard short, however. It'll bring up third down short yardage Kentucky at the LSU 15.
Little play action, trying to slip that fullback out into the flat. Sancho coming up to support. Ball dumped over his head. LSU should respond a little bit quicker. Man catches the ball, there should be somebody coming at that point.
I like the looks of Andy Murray. He can do a lot of things for you. Of course, his key move is to block, but he can receive, he can run it. Had back problems to begin the season. Third down short. Murray. Depends on where they spot his forward progress. It looked to me as though he got it. The ball spot will be everything here. Let's just see where they put it down. It's going to be real close. They'll have to bring the sticks into measure, I'm almost certain. 5:10 to go, as you saw a moment ago. 5:10 to go in the first half.
Well, Jerry Claiborne has seen a few of these measurements in his time, right? Great defensive back in Kentucky. 9 interceptions senior year 1949. As we watched the measurement. Went to work for Bear Bryant in 1952 at Kentucky.
First down by about the width of a piece of paper. A thin piece of paper. It'll be first down 10 Kentucky. just inside the 15-yard line. LSU leading 14-3. Kentucky threatening. Well, the biggest play for Kentucky on this drive was the personal foul penalty against LSU.
But they've been churning out 3 and 4 yards, Bob, and that's how you maintain possession of the football.
Higgs needs blocks. Doesn't get him. Down he goes. Making the stop, Eric Hill. I've said it so many times today, but this LSU defense is tough to run outside on.
Little trouble getting the toss back there. Higgs finally has the football. Look at Hill. Watch him. 54. Moving laterally. Higgs. I'm sure Higgs thought he was in there. I thought he was around. He thought he was around the corner, but Eric Hill, if you could chisel a player out of a block of marble, you'd chisel out Eric Hill. He's a real strong kid. Watch it. Mike Merlin.
Second down, 12. Kentucky. And a timeout is called by Glenn Ford. As you can see, Glenn Ford was a little bit out of sorts on the last play looking at the pitch, so he goes over to talk to Jerry Claiborne. We'll be right back. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System.
And unfortunately, that's the weather picture for tonight.
Roger is a weatherman. He knows the difference between little storms and big storms. And recently, when he saw a big one coming, the first place he went was his Honda generator dealer.
Hey, you're the weatherman. I need a real good generator.
And by the time the storm hit, Roger was prepared. The Honda generator, because you never know what the weather will bring.
Headache, pressure, and congestion. All together, the major symptoms of sinus complex. You need to feel better, but not drowsy. You need Sinutab 2, no drowsiness formula. Sinutab 2, so you feel altogether better and awake.
Mike Archer's LSU defense is looking at Kentucky with a second down 12. The line of scrimmage at the 16-yard line. One receiver, D. Smith, split wide to the bottom of the screen. 4. Almost intercepted. He was trying to get it to his fullback Murray. It was Darren Marlboro, number 90, who dropped what would have been a scoring-saving interception.
Trying to get it here to Andy Murray. Initially looked for D. Johnson on the outside. Nothing there. Went to Murray, and he just pulls it in. Drops it back, takes a little bit off it. The ball comes short, and Marlboro just can't hold on. Marlboro's one of the leaders of the defense at inside linebacker. Just a real tough, hard-nosed athlete that's real competitive.
Tim Jones up to the top of the screen. D. Smith to the bottom. 4. It's complete to D. Smith, but he gets only to the 13-yard line. That was third down. Greg Jackson with the play, and in will come the kicker, Joey Worley, and Joe Worley is an exceptional kicker. He's already hit one field goal here today. Got married prior to the season. And senior has hopes for a professional kicking career. See that when he's inside the 40, he has great percentage. Inside the 30, it's up in the 90s. So this, for him, is almost automatic. We'll see. It is automatic. And now it is LSU 14, and thanks to 2 Joe Worley field goals, it is 6 for Kentucky. So Joe Worley hits the 30-yarder. We have 3 minutes and 26 seconds remaining in the first half. Kentucky has been able to move the football on LSU, but not been able to score the touchdown. You talk about Tiger Stadium. Everybody says you can't win here. It's the toughest place to win. Actually, not necessarily true. If you look, LSU the last 5 years, their home record not as good as their road record.
I think it's an awful intimidating place for someone who hasn't been here before, but coaches go out of their way to prepare their teams for what they're going to face when they come in here. What stadium in the SEC isn't intimidating? We were in Auburn last week, and if I was a player, that'd intimidate me. You know, we've been in Knoxville. Good grief.
Next week in Sanford Stadium, Mike Archer said about Sanford Stadium next week. He said when he took LSU in there last week, his players got excited for that game because of the antagonism of those Georgia fans. We hope you'll join us when we have the Kentucky Wildcats and the Bulldogs next week in beautiful Sanford Stadium. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern Time. Superstation viewers can get all the sports news on the Grandstand Report at 12:15 Eastern Time. Kick off, and it comes down to Sam Martin at the 9. Open field runner. Couldn't make 3 of them miss, and they stop him at the 24-yard line. Sam Martin's elusive, but he only got that one back 16 yards. So it'll be LSU football, first down 10 from their own 24, leading in the game by a score of 14-6. It has been a very even ball game. Kentucky literally gave away a touchdown when Mark Higgs fumbled at the Wildcats 5 and LSU scored. Other than that, this has been really as even a matchup, Tim, as you thought it would be.
And the sign of a good team is a team that can win when they're not at an emotional peak. And I don't think LSU is at an emotional peak today.
Mickey Harris, the fullback now for LSU, along with Sam Martin at the tailback spot. Martin with a reception. Out to the 33-yard line, 99 Doug Hauser with the stop, and Sam Martin is a good pass receiver. He has 2 touchdowns catching the ball. Time remaining in the second quarter. Gain of about 9.
Sammy Martin, you just got to like him. I had an Indian friend. He's got 4.4 speed. That's all they got. Jimmy Suffalo is like him. White man who can run deep.
In motion, number 6, Tony Moss. Hand off to Martin. Martin running for the first down to the 40. Make that the 38-yard line of LSU with 2:32 to go in the first half. Tom Hodson on the afternoon. 6 out of 11 for 91 yards, 1 TD, and 1 interception.
A factor in this game later on is going to be the heat. It's been real cool in Kentucky. They haven't been exposed to this kind of humidity and heat in the last month. And I think it may take its toll later on in the game.
With 72 degrees at kickoff, should be up to about 80. This is first and 10. It is complete to the 45-yard line. With the reception, Sam Martin. Chris Chenault was a big hit on Martin. Martin says, every time I touch the ball, they hit me harder than the other guys.
Well, let's watch him here. Let's watch Kentucky. They're blitzing 1 linebacker. Chenault coming back, settling in that middle zone. You see Wendell Davis working to the open spot down at the bottom, but Hodson pops the receiver, and Chenault pops the receiver.
Second down 3 in motion. Roger McGee. Pitch to Harvey Williams. Turned inside at first by 98 Carwell Gardner, then finished off by the pursuing Kentucky defensive team. Chenault will get credit for the tackle. So now it is going to be third down and about 3 at the 45. No gain on that play at all. That's the time remaining in the first half. 1 minute and 20 seconds and counting. LSU leading 14-6. Third down 3. 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen. Single setbacks to fullback. Hodson, not much pressure. Incomplete. A diving attempt by Harvey Williams down at the 27-yard line. Nice touch on the ball by Hodson, but Williams just couldn't hold on to it. Would have been a spectacular catch. And now Matt DeFrank, the punter, comes in. He had a 69-yarder the last time he punted. They stopped it at the Kentucky 2. Mark Higgs gained 3 yards and then fumbled at the 5, and that led to the LSU score. 19 D. Smith. There's Matt DeFrank, senior, Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Smith is going to let it bounce. They're going to down it inside the 5 again. D. Smith not catching that ball down there, and it's rolling past him. It was down by James Bice at the 5-yard line. So don't think that deja vu is not running through the mind of Jerry Claiborne. Matt DeFrank doing a good job with a 50-yarder that time. At halftime, Craig Sager will be in our studios. We'll have highlights of that Iowa-Michigan game, report from the Auburn-Georgia Tech game, the last in their long series, by the way, and we'll see and hear the Tiger marching band.
The one thing Jerry Claiborne's thinking right now is that D. Smith isn't going to be returning punts next week. Big hole for Ivy Joe Hunter.
penalty markers down. He gets out of bounds at about the 27. Could have been a face mask. Carrier 11 and 29 Bryant were combining on the stop. We have 42 seconds to go in the half here, and Kentucky has 2 timeouts remaining. If this is, depending on the extent of this penalty against LSU, and I'm presuming it is, it could move the ball way out there. Dick Burleson will tell us what it is. That was a 23-yard gain on the Ivy Joe Hunter.
Grabbing the face mask, 5-yard penalty against the defense.
Make that Ivy Joe Hunter run instead of Ivy Joe.
That was a Foleyism. Carrier hustling to get there. Willie Bryant grabbing a hold. Don't grab a hold of that.
They call it non-flagrant.
Yeah, 5-yarder. One thing we've learned about watching Jerry Claiborne coach teams is they're going to keep coming at you. Doesn't matter what the score is. They're going to keep coming.
14-6 LSU, 41 seconds to go in the half. Good time to pass. Nice catch inside LSU territory. The tight end Charlie Darrington, the junior from Tifton, Georgia, has the really exceptional hands and good speed. He's a big target for Glenn Moore. A gain of 21, and Kentucky has 32 seconds left in the half.
Kentucky's really strong at the tight end position with Pennington and Darrington. Bring the tight end. You see Murray hustling out into the flat. They had the split coming in across the middle. Can't really see it in that picture, but there he just shows up at the end of that play. Jimmy O'Neill was wide open coming across the middle. They may go back to that.
Jimmy O'Neill goes out, but Tim Jones comes into play in his position. Darrington, a junior college transfer. And that's number 88, Darrington, right there. 6'3", 220. Made some big pass receptions for Kentucky against Ole Miss last week. So we have 32 seconds to go in the half. LSU leads on 2 touchdowns, 14-6. Kentucky with the 2 field goal scores, as I said before. Otherwise, it's been a pretty even-steven football game here.
Now, if you had Kevin Dooley here, he knows what to do with the football. He's been around. He's been watching Ransdell for the last several years, had the coaching of Jerry Eisman. The problem that Four has got is he's still getting used to the system, and he's still getting used to the reads that he gets from an SEC defense. And
Four on the first down from the 49. Puts it to Ivy Joe Hunter. Out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Knocked out by 29 Willie Bryant, and Kentucky started at their own 5-yard line. They had a gain of 24, of 21, and now 19, and they're knocking at the door.
This was well read by Tommy Clapp. Watch number 97. He's with Kunkel. He runs. He sees the screen. He's right there with Kunkel, and he just can't make the play. Hazard gets up there and misses, and you know LSU is looking for the screens, but Kentucky makes it work anyway. Good effort by Ivy Joe.
At the 29, already inside Joe Worley field goal range. 24 seconds to go in the half. First down. Wildcats, 4. Plenty of time. Gonna tuck it. Out of bounds at the 24.5-yard line. Ron Sancho chased him out. Clock down to 18 seconds. As I told you, they are in Joe Worley field goal range right now. LSU leading 14-6, but Kentucky started this drive with 42 seconds left at their own 5-yard line.
And again, what do you think? Is Kentucky for real? I think they are. They can move the football, and if they can move the football like that against this defense, they've got some power.
Kentucky with 1 timeout remaining, 18 seconds. It will be second down 5 from the 24. Ivy Joe Hunter to the 24. No gain on that play. Darren Marlborough make that Ron Sancho with the stop. Haven't seen Mark Higgs in a while. And with 13 seconds to go, they seem to be running the ball toward the middle of the field, and I think they may go for the field goal. Joe Worley coming onto the field.
One of the most important things about LSU was in this situation against Ohio State, down, threatening, and one of the most important things you can have if you're going to throw the ball down in this area is that coordination between your quarterback and your wide receiver. The closer you get to the end zone, the more important that becomes, because what happens is the field keeps getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And I just don't think that Kentucky feels confident enough about Four and Smith working together to risk that at this particular point. If they can get 3 points and go in 14-9, I think they're going to feel like their kids now believe they can win.
This will be a 42-yard field goal attempt by Joe Worley. He is 3 out of 3 between the 40 and 49-yard line on the season. He's, as we said before, an exceptional kicker. He started the season with, he injured his right leg, his kicking leg, in a motorcycle accident. Had a serious bruise, but he's come back strong.
The other thing defensively you've got to be concerned about, they have blocked 3 field goals, LSU. Darrell Phillips by himself. You got to watch the fake.
It looks good. It is Joe Worley, 3 out of 3 today. What a kicker you're watching here today. The senior Kentucky kicker from Oakwood, Virginia, makes it LSU 14, Kentucky 9 with 8 seconds remaining in the first half. Kentucky started that drive at their 5-yard line. LSU with the touchdowns and Kentucky with the field goals. It was LSU scoring first to make it 7-0. Harvey Williams took it in, then the 45-yard field goal by Worley. And thanks to a fumble by Mark Higgs, LSU took it into the end zone from the 5. It was first and goal at the 5. They threw the ball to Raji McGee. Kentucky came back, got a 29-yarder, and now 41-yard field goal by Worley, and it's 14-9 as we approach halftime.
Mike Archer's been around some great coaches. He was a defensive backfield coach at the University of Miami for Howard Schnellenberger. That defensive coordinator was a fellow named Tom Olivadotti, the guy that he worked for directly there, who is now the defensive coordinator with the Dolphins. And he said he learned from Schnellenberger to communicate with his players every day. And he said Howard is probably as good as any coach he'd ever been around as convincing his players that they're actually better than they were, as Schnellenberger formed that program in the early 80s. And then for the last 4 years worked for Bill Arnsparger, the AD at Florida. And from Bill, he learned attention to detail and error-free football. And both of them were very, very organized.
Into the end zone and said it's not going to return it. And I wonder if the back did not step out of the end zone. Sammy Martin, no, they signaled touchback. It looked like he stepped out, and they might spot it down there at the 1-inch line. Watch this. Does he step out of there? He's got the football. Good call. Nice sound effects. Tim Foley with our sound effects. It'll be first down 10 LSU from their 20 with 8 seconds remaining in the half, and LSU leading 14-9. And in a lot of ways, Kentucky has played better offensively than LSU. LSU with really just one serious scoring threat. They'll just keep the ball down there and run the clock out here to end the first half, with LSU leading 14-9 over Kentucky. Both teams undefeated in the SEC, and this Kentucky team is for real. Mike Archer knows that as well as anybody right now. Stay with us. We'll be right back to Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Great plays in SEC history. Brought to you by Valvoline High Performance Motor Oil. Valvoline, because motor oil is not just motor oil. Last season's edition of the...
Down at the 28-yard line goes Sammy Martin, and LSU leading 14-9 back onto the football field here with Tommy Hodson leading the way. Hodson was 7 of 13, 1 interception, 1 TD, 98 yards in the first half. Tim pointed out he threw it to his favorite target, Wendell Davis, only 1 time. 6 other receptions were made by the other receivers. They included a whole host: McGee, Moss, Sammy Martin had a couple of catches. Harvey Williams, penalty marker down. He's down at the 32. John Shannon, number 91, the left defensive guard for Kentucky with a stop.
One of the philosophies that Howard Schnellenberger had back at Miami was to get in your second-team quarterback. Get him a series. You see a holding call here against LSU. Get him a series early in the game, so if your first-teamer does get knocked out of there, you're not bringing in a cold fella off the bench, and it helps him develop some confidence. So Archer convinced Bill Arnsparger that was a good idea, and they've done it here for the last couple of years, so don't be surprised to see Mickey Guidry enter the game.
10 yards penalty on the offense, first down.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're yanking Hodson as much as it is they're just given Guidry some time, and Guidry has been effective, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast. 37% of the time that he starts a drive, it has concluded in the score, points on the board for LSU.
Well, LSU hurting themselves with penalties, 2 big ones in the second quarter, and now holding makes it first down and 20 as they spot it at the 18-yard line. Left side, speed merchant Harvey Williams, run down from behind though, and he coughed it up. It still belongs to LSU, however, at the 25-yard line. 92 Vic Adams ran him down. 7-yard gain.
When Kentucky bunches those 8 men in up front and concentrates on the run, LSU is going to try to hit them on the outside. Good job by Dortch holding that thing off, not committing to the inside on that block as the ball popped out.
It'll be second down 13 LSU now. 2 receivers to the top of your screen, 1 down to the bottom. Hodson on the option. That's Sammy Martin. Martin gets it to the 33 and down he goes. The first down stick is at the 39-yard line. So it'll be third down and substantial. Number 6, Tony Massey, making the stop on Sammy Martin.
We've talked before, Bob, about the negative effect of getting some easy scores early. Oftentimes it reduces the emotionalism of a football team, and they tend to get complacent about a victory before it really is in hand.
Third down, and let's say 6 to go. LSU opening possession, second half. Hodson, here comes a blitz. Gets it off. It is complete to Wendell Davis for the first down at the 41-yard line. Only the second catch of the day for Wendell Davis, and that broke the LSU career receiving record. That's 153 catches for Davis. He broke the record set by Eric Martin.
This is the check off by Hodson. Kentucky coming after him. Wendell Davis hooks and sits because there's just nobody on him. He knows he's got it right there. If the defensive back had been closer, he would have begun to drift, and Hodson would have led him in that direction.
LSU had to get a 1st and 20 that time, and they did it successfully. Here's the pitch to Martin again. Gets some good blocks. Down he goes at the 43.5-yard line. I'd like to thank our booth crew as usual. Nicky Nichols managing the booth today. Kim Anderson spotting. Alex Vergara with the statistics, doing their excellent good job. Their usual good, excellent good job. Excellent.
That's great. And you know, Gus Piazza, the guy that fed us the other night, his dad has been in the hospital. Papa Frank can tell you a lot about the old New Orleans politics.
Second down 7, LSU.
Better.
From the 43. Here's Sam Martin. Big gaping hole. Oh, he's a great broken field runner. Inside Kentucky territory to the 44-yard line, tackled by Carwell Gardner. And Sam Martin reminds me of a player from the past, but he's got present-day speed.
Kentucky is man-to-man in the secondary underneath, too deep, and what happens is the linebackers now turn and focus on the men they're trying to cover. They don't realize Martin has the ball until he crosses the line of scrimmage, and then, as you mentioned, he comes and zigs and zags and darts and bobs, all of the stuff.
Out to the 44 of Kentucky. Martin and Egloff in the backfield. Hodson. It is complete to Wendell Davis to the 36-yard line, his 3rd catch of the day. You had to wonder how long Hodson would wait before he started going heavily to his favorite target.
Now let's watch this body control here. This again is a checkoff. Lines in close, gives him more room on the sideline, breaks it down, doesn't give the defensive back any clue of a break. Some receivers would throw up their arms, some receivers would make it some kind of a turn or an idiosyncrasy, but he's got great body control and just pops right into his break.
On the second down, about 2. Harvey Williams. He gets the first down. He gets to the 27-yard line. Harvey Williams running the ball for LSU. This is a precision look at the LSU offense on this opening drive of the second half. And isn't it interesting? Kentucky dominating the first half stats, but thanks to the turnover, LSU got 2 touchdowns in the first half. Kentucky 3 field goals. So that LSU defense ability to keep the opposition out of the end zone for a touchdown really comes into play here. A touchdown, it could be a 21-9 game all of a sudden. On first down from the 28. Harvey Williams to the 25.
You know, they line McGee up there on the wide side along with Wendell Davis, and you can't ignore that as a defensive coordinator because that's stuff that can hurt you in a hurry. And with Martin coming out of the backfield to that side, that's 3 receivers that can get you in a hurry. And so what you do is line those guys up to the wide side of the field and then try to eat them up back to the other side with Williams running back to the tight end, Kitchen and Hubix and those folks.
Davis and McGee split up to the top of the screen on the second down. From the 25. Very quiet crowd here in this daytime game. Williams hit at the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1. The local time here in Baton Rouge Central Time Zone is about 25 minutes after 1 o'clock, and these LSU fans would just be getting started for their pregame preparation for a night game.
One of the things that the coaches at LSU and I think the players really like about Hodson is he's a tough quarterback, and he proved that last year against Kentucky when he did take that tremendous blow to the jaw and come back and lead him to a win.
This is 3rd and 6. Big defensive play for Kentucky here on the LSU conversion attempt. They're blitzing. Hodson picked it up quickly. It's complete. Short of the first down, however. Wendell Davis with the reception near the 20. They'll spot it at the 21. So it will be 4th down at about 4. And time for the place kicker to come in. It'll be David Browndyke.
That time, Kentucky had him outmanned. They had 3 people to protect against 4 blitzing. It's a hot read for Hodson. He got it out in the flat to Williams, but good coverage by Robinson was there to make the hit before Williams had the chance to turn up.
You can see from this position, Browndyke, the left footer, is perfect on the year. Block. Not perfect any longer. It was number 6, Tony Massey, the big play player who made the play. There he is. Tony Massey has been a big surprise. He's got quarterback sacks, 3 interceptions, and now the blocked field goal, and that will prove to be big. Count on it.
This bud's for all that you do.
Say, landscaper, tomorrow college student.
Yep. Finally took your advice, Mike.
You taught him.
Already you're smart.
All you knew. They say he's a lot like you. Yeah, you make America work, and this bud's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
To a future architect, and to a brother who made it possible.
This bud's for you.
Imagine a vehicle with a rare combination of talent. A driver-oriented cockpit, electronically fuel-injected power, a rear-wheel anti-lock brake system, and responsive ride and handling. Now imagine all this not in a car, but in a pickup. The big new full-size 1988 Sierra pickup from GMC Truck. But beware, once you see how much a GMC Truck offers, you'll find that one just won't be enough. GMC Truck. It's not just a truck anymore.
This portion of SEC football is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. For all you do, this Bud's for you, and by your local GMC truck dealer. We want you to know that it's not just a truck anymore.
Now let's look at this. Let's look at this protection. You see, for LSU, number 79, right there in the middle of your circle there is Jim Hubitz, and to his right is Eric Hill. And their job is to protect 3 gaps. Massey, number 6, comes across. Hill, 54, has got to get his head down inside. He's got to cut off that inside rusher, then come back to the outside. He almost inadvertently, I'm sure, ignores Massey. Massey comes through and slaps the ball away. Big play by Tony Massey, former quarterback.
Just a sophomore on the first down. Kentucky running it with Mark Higgs. Running hard out for the first down. Higgs was relatively silent in the first half, particularly after he fumbled at the 5-yard line. Higgs had only 39. He has 12 yards on that carry.
See what it looks like for Mark Higgs. Andy Murray sliding to the side. And there you see that line that Farrell Sheridan and Jerry Claiborne are so proud of, that line that they have built over the last several years that can handle an SEC defensive front.
Fumble again. It was a mix-up on the handoff between Four and Higgs, and it looked like that Four was very late getting the ball to Higgs. Put it on his hip. And that's what happens when you have a quarterback who's trying to learn a system. Higgs involved in 2 fumbles now today.
That certainly wasn't Mark Higgs' fault.
Higgs goes out. Ivy Joe Hunter comes in. The
thing that's different about this Kentucky team is last year they used to throw the ball on first down a lot more, and they'd find themselves second and long, third and long.
Second down, 14. 4 to throw this time. On the run, nice grab under pressure over at the 37-yard line. Guidry was covering 17 Tim Jones, but Jones caught it anyway.
Guidry all over Tim Jones, trying to move 4 out of the pocket. He throws the ball almost better on the run. Nice job by Pfeiffer there, holding off number 75, holding off an LSU player. Couldn't play it any better than that. Kevin Guidry right in the right spot, just missed getting his hand on the ball. Timmy Jones, great concentration, yanked it down. 2 big catches by Tim Jones today.
Third down, 5. Crowd coming to life now. 4. Penalty markers down. Incomplete. Wanted to get it to D. Smith. Penalty markers down at the line of scrimmage. Dick Burleson will explain what the penalty marker is about. Often at that point it can be called a hold. We'll see. 8 minutes, 8 seconds to go third quarter. LSU leading 14-9. LSU executed a beautiful drive, and then they had the blocked field goal to open this quarter. Looks like possibly an illegal pass.
We got holding on the offense, and we got an illegal pass against the offense.
Jerry Claiborne not exactly happy with his team committing 2 penalties on the same play. 4, of course, had run past the line of scrimmage when he threw the ball. That's the reason for the illegal pass, and it'll be a punting situation for Kentucky. Jay Tesser comes in. He's done a nice job punting the football today. Tesser with a 53-yard average today.
Of course, our old buddy Joey Wessel is coaching here at LSU, and Joey's the guy that played at Florida State, was All-American Special Teams, returned 4 block punts for touchdowns in a year, and he's coaching the inside linebackers here for Mike Archer. He told his mother Margie I'd talk about him. He's back in Miami.
Almost blocked to the 29-yard line. This is 35 Greg Jackson. To the 43-yard line. The ball came loose, but it was after the play was over. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System.
We're not a company, but we recognize potential. We develop it. We use it. We'll make sure that as your responsibility grows, so will you. As your ability for leadership grows, so will you. Working with us, you'll gain self-confidence, become a person with a future. We're not a company, we're your country. We're the Marines, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Give that man a Slim Jim. Slim Jims all around. On the diver, on the road. What's your plane sitting down? All right!
My family loves the snack, and now I found a great change of pace from Chips and Nuts.
Slim Jim in these new canisters.
In the snack section of your supermarket.
Give that man a Slim Jim. The spicy meaty treat. Hey, give yourself a Slim Jim. So good to eat.
Well, here's Joey Wessel at work. You see Mike Mays inside the circle. Look at his head. He's looking in at the ball. Now, you want to occupy that up back in front of number 16 with somebody from the interior. They don't get that done. Mays has it blocked. He gets knocked off right at the end there by Randy Holleran. And the reason that it's not interference is that Holleran knocks him into the kicker. But Mays had that blocked. If LSU could have gotten some penetration from the middle.
So LSU with good field position again. They had an excellent drive on the opening drive of this half, only to have the field goal attempt blocked. They lead 14-9 over Kentucky, 7:57 to go, third quarter. LSU Fighting Tigers. Both teams undefeated in the SEC. Sam Martin with a handoff, and he fell down. Going to be a loss of 3 or 4 on the play inside the LSU 40-yard line.
Tommy Hodson, just great football sense. He's the type of kid that when the game is going to be decided, he wants to decide it. He's not afraid of the pressure. He's one of those players that really comes to his best, really reaches his full potential when the game is on the line. He wants the ball in his hand.
Second down, 13. Hodson leads them up. Has single setback, has headlocked the fullback. That means he usually is going to throw it. Plenty of time. Batted down. Good defensive play by 26, Ron Robinson. Was intended for Harvey Williams. Robinson, the sophomore from Nashville.
Let's watch Davis here. Coming off the line. You see Gardner coming out, and he's just trying to stay underneath. He's got deep help. He wants to be between him and the quarterback. Gets his head around. Davis continues to work. It's not there. Hodson goes back over the middle. It's broken up by Robinson.
3rd and 13. And a passing set once again. McGee and Davis split wide to the right, and now Williams shifts over there as the slot back. Davis catches it at the 29-yard line. Mark Sellers was covering a great catch by the big play receiver. Wendell Davis, number 82, gets 32 yards on the reception.
What a throw, what a throw. Hodson checks off to this. You watch Massey begin to run underneath him. Turns him over to Mark Sellers deep. And Hodson, this ball's coming right out of the sun. Look at that concentration. Gets his feet down. Just total awareness of where he is on the football field, what he's trying to accomplish.
Davis, 4 catches, 56 yards in this ball game. First down, 10 LSU. About 3 yards on the carry for Harvey Williams. He goes down at the 27, hit by 54 Jerry Reese. And Tommy Hodson racking up the numbers now. 12 out of 19 for 157 yards, 1 interception, 1 TD. Davis has 3 catches for 49 yards in this half. So Hodson said, Coach, I held back as long as I could on my favorite man in the first half. I got to have him.
Yeah, let me at him. You also got to give credit to Jerry Sullivan, who's a receiver coach here. Mike Archer, another thing he said was that this is the best coached group of receivers that he's ever been around.
This will be second down 8 from the 27. Kentucky moving around on the defense. Hodson checking off, penalty markers down. Hodson hit as he throws it. Incomplete. He tried to get it to the outstretched fingertips of Harvey Williams, but he just couldn't catch up to it. Tony Massey really leveled quarterback Tom Hodson. Penalty marker on the play.
Well, Hodson checks off to this. You see Kramer blitzing up the middle, and then Massey gets there. It was that same type of shot that Gardner put on Hodson last year to knock him out, except Gardner. Gardner got his helmet right under his jaw. A good clean hit there by Massey, and as a former quarterback, sure he has got a little bit of empathy.
Illegal procedure on the offense. Decline. 3rd down.
It'll be 3rd down and 8 from the 27-yard line.
As you know, Bob, pass defense is a combination of pressure and coverage, and Kentucky likes the pressure part the most. They feel like if they can create havoc in that backfield, it'll unsettle the quarterback to the point he won't throw the ball on the money.
Moss, Davis, Harvey Williams are set as receivers up to the top of the screen. Here comes the blitz. It is complete. It is Davis to the 10. First down. Wendell Davis tripped up by Mark Sellers. A gain of 17, and Wendell Davis has come alive. So is this crowd at Tiger Stadium.
One of the problems when you're just playing with 3 defensive backs in Kentucky is that you got to slide the strong safety, the weak safeties here, in this case Sellers, over on the slot, which is a tip-off for a blitz. Let's watch this again. Sellers, he turns to the outside, the ball is delivered. That's another thing that Hodson does so well. He anticipates Davis's moves, and the ball is there on time.
First down 10, just barely outside the 10. LSU leading 14-9, now threatening. Harvey Williams. Hauled down from behind as a penalty marker goes down. Jerry Reese with his 5th tackle of the day. Penalty marker in the Kentucky defensive backfield. Jerry Reese came back there to make the big play, as he is so often to do. Probably the most talented athlete on the defensive squad of Kentucky. Dick Burleson, our referee today, will explain what that call is. Preliminary indication is it's going to go against LSU.
We have holding, 10-yard penalty on the offense.
Let's watch number 80, Raji McGee. He may be the guilty partner.
He's in motion there right at the left of your screen, number 80. He's taken on Tony Massey. He's got that hand around him. I'm not sure that was it. That was it. Okay, that was it. And
you're not buying it, but that's what they threw it at.
Look, they said in my ear that was it, so that was it.
Harvey Williams, Eddie Fuller in the backfield on first down, 20 LSU. Here's the draw to Fuller. Fuller down to the 7-yard line, tackled by Ron Robinson. Eddie Fuller rarely carries the ball, had only 26 carries on the year coming into this game. He gets 14 on that big play.
Probably the best inside runner that they have in the football team. The strongest runner, always in when it's around the goal line. Eddie Fuller. That's quite a threesome right there. Really for both squads.
You bet. That's a big gain because it was first and 20. 14-yard gain, now second down and 6. The first down marker just short of the goal line for LSU. Hodson throws the fade to Davis. Incomplete. He was covered very well by David Johnson, a junior from Louisville. So it'll be third down and 6.
Well, he had to get that one away in a hurry. He had somebody in his face. Didn't really have time at all to take a look. And that's a good call down there, Bob, when he's lined up as close to the ball as Davis was, because then it's a matter of fading to the corner. It's not just a vertical separation, it's also a lateral separation.
24, David Johnson, who was covering on the play, the best man-to-man coverage man in the backfield for Kentucky. Now it's a big one. Third down and 6 from the 6.5. Here comes Kentucky on the blitz. Hodson throws, incomplete, penalty marker at the goal line. Tony Massey, number 6, once again was pressuring the quarterback. The pass was intended for Tony Moss, number 6, for LSU.
See, Tony Moss is coming in motion. He's got a head start on Ron Mack across the field. Mack in good position as Moss makes his break. David Johnson was settling, waiting for the crossing receiver. See 49 Brian Kinchin coming across, and he's looking to pick off somebody there. Johnson reads what's happening and makes contact before the ball arrives.
There he is. Guess who his favorite musical artist is? With that haircut.
My little girl will tell you look like Prince.
Bingo, you win the silver dollar. How do you like that haircut, Tim? I understand. First down goal. They spotted at the 2 on a pass interference call inside the 17-yard line. Harvey Williams goes airborne. Touchdown! Harvey Williams' second touchdown of the day for the LSU Bengal Tigers. And now it is LSU 20, Kentucky 9 with 4:40 to go in the third quarter. Brown Dyke for the point after. He splits the uprights. LSU 21, Kentucky 9. Back to Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge after this.
People in this country work hard every day. Not for fame or fortune do they strive, but the fruits of their labor are worth more than their pay. And it's time a few of them were recognized.
You work hard for every dollar you spend. Now get $5 back when you buy 12 quarts of any Valvoline motor oil.
You work a 40-hour week for a living just to send it on down the line.
A6, hurry and you'll make it.
Delta Airlines ticket agent Sam Singletary knows how to get people moving.
Mr. Franklin, your bag.
But sometimes he has to show off a few moves of his own. The kind of moves that made him a first-string halfback. Sam Singletary shares a feeling with everyone at Delta. He loves what he's doing, and it shows.
We love to fly, and it shows.
Notre Dame and Air Force. Notre Dame quarterback Tony Rice in his first collegiate start keeps the ball himself on the rollout, goes in for the touchdown, his second of the day. Notre Dame leading Air Force, a team they have lost to 4 of the last 5 years. Back to Bob.
So Harvey Williams, 2 touchdowns on the day, 12 carries for 54 yards, and he's made his presence felt here in this ball game as LSU has jumped out to a 21-9 lead over Kentucky. Squib kick bounces over the head, but it is now corralled by D. Smith. And he's out of bounds at the 11. Oh, my! D. Smith having a nightmare on kick returns today. He was chased out of bounds by Mike Mays, a 7-yard return.
Let's look at that touchdown again, and you're going to see a fine job of blocking by an All-American, Eric Andelsack. He's in the circle there. 45 for Kentucky. Christian Alt will force the play. Jay Egloff does a nice job of neutralizing him, but look at Andelsack. Look at that. Look at the movement that he's getting on a Kentucky defender that creates that seam. That's how an All-American guard blocks. Whoa.
Oh, LSU's defense is fired up now. 62, Darrell Phillips, the nose guard, knocks Ivy Joe Hunter down for a loss. Now the crowd really coming into play. A penalty marker is down in the backfield of the LSU Tigers. Sometimes LSU thinks it's going to be called against them. You see the discussion down there with the officials. Hazard not happy about what he's hearing.
Well, all afternoon long, the receivers and the defensive backs have been going at it. Kentucky's got guys.
We got dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct against both teams.
That was downfield, and of course, I never have understood that call except for warning, because of course it means nothing in terms of whether or not either team gets penalized. They're nullifying penalties. But that's what you're talking about, Tim. They've been battling each other. And I guess Dick Burleson, the officials, feel it's time to let them know that they're watching it, and that's the warning. There's the LSU scoring drive, 58 yards, a short drive. And the 2-yard TD run by Harvey Williams. 21-9, LSU leading 4 minutes, 8 seconds and counting to go in the third quarter. Second down, 12, Kentucky. Hit in the backfield, Ivy Joe Hunter, they did it again. This time, number 70, Clint James for the Tiger defensive unit.
Kentucky, in the past 4 or 5 games, Bob, has made a lot of ground hitting up into the line of scrimmage and then bouncing it out. LSU right now is sitting in the outside gaps.
And where has Mark Higgs been today, you ask? He had 192 yards last week against Ole Miss, only 47 yards on 13 carries, involved in 2 fumbles today. Higgs comes back into the game. It is third down, 13. The crowd deafening. And Glenn Forrest says, I cannot hear. Timeout, Kentucky. We'll be right back.
Too many people think a spark plug's a spark plug. Well, all spark plugs aren't alike. These AC copper core plugs match my car's specs like rounds in a chamber, firing up to 30 times a second for up to 30,000 miles of high revving firepower.
Precision AC Delco parts. They don't just fit, they match.
Keep your car running the way it was made to run.
Now get up to $7 back on AC filters and plugs. See your retailer for details.
They're back. Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. 10:30 Eastern on
Superstation TBS.
Sunday.
Celebrate a 2-night basketball spectacular. Perennial NBA championship contender Milwaukee Bucks, the always devastating Soviet national squad, and Europe's premier pro club Trace Milan clash in this first ever basketball challenge, the McDonald's Basketball Open. 8:05 Eastern on Superstation TBS. Friday and Saturday night.
Tiger Stadium crowd forced the timeout. They're on their feet and yelling again. On the 3rd and 13 from his end zone. 4. Incomplete. Wanted to go to 17, Tim Jones. And now, Kentucky will have to punt out of their own end zone. The last time Tesser punted, it was only 37 yards, and there was a 14-yard return by Greg Jackson. So it's going to be a very tough time for Jay Tesser, who is, as by his own admission, had an inconsistent year. Not a very good punt. He does get it away. Fair catch called for by Greg Jackson at the 48-yard line. And now LSU has been just dominant here in the third quarter. Will have the ball again. Their last drive for the touchdown was for 58 yards. This time they are only 48 yards away from the end zone, and Georgia Tech giving Auburn all they can handle at Grant Field in Atlanta. That Auburn touchdown, by the way, was a defensive touchdown by Kurt Crane. Recovered a fumble and got the touchdown. 7-7. Eddie Fuller, Mickey Harris in the backfield for LSU. First and 10 from the Tigers' 48. This is Harris, the fullback, to the 44. Some more scores from college action this afternoon. Florida with no problem on Temple, and most people thought that would be the case. Second quarter score. Mississippi State battling their arch rival Southern Mississippi, and Clemson struggling a bit with Duke. 10-3 in the second. Michigan out by 20 over Iowa.
Bob's happy again.
Whistling here. Hail to the victors. They banned that song in East Lansing, you know. It's illegal to play or sing or toot. Hail to the victors. Here's the handoff to Eddie Fuller. Broke it loose. Touchdown, Eddie Fuller. Wait till you see this. 44 yards, his second touchdown of the year. Dyke for the point after. Eddie Fuller, the sophomore, just broke it off the right side.
Now let's watch this. You're going to see something at the end of it that's unusual. Good job of blocking there. Barnett upfield. Chenault gets blocked, but he's not out of the play. He keeps on his feet. David Johnson misses. Ron Robinson misses. Good job of running. Now here comes Chris Chenault, and he can fly. He's 4'6". Now watch number 82, Wendell Davis. You talk about a receiver sticking their nose in there. I love you, Wendell. That's fantastic. Good job of running by Eddie Fuller, and also a great competitive effort by Chris Chenault, who was out of the play and stayed in it, fought to get back in it.
Eddie Fuller with his second touchdown run of the year. They say they like him on touchdown-type plays. You know, they call them goal line plays, and that was the first goal line play I'd seen from the 44-yard line. And Wendell Davis, the Tim Foley, Wendell has won the Tim Foley Non-Wimp Wide Receiver Award.
That's right.
There's a presentation that I guess will take place here in Baton Rouge after the season.
And he reminds me of Paul Warfield, just a guy with great skill, great ability, and also good hustle and a team player, a guy that'll sacrifice, throw his body around.
Here's the kickoff. Ron Lewis hitting it. D. Smith, who's had just, as I said, a nightmare returning kick so far today. Hardy goes down at the 21-yard line.
Wendell. Good job, Wendell.
He just said thank you, Tim, and thanks for the award.
Right. First team All-American last year. Be a first team All-American again this year, and best receiver in the country. So I don't know how you could give the Heisman Trophy to Tim Brown.
Kentucky has averaged starting drives at their own 16 today. Not good position. This one from the 21. Four rifles it over the middle. It's complete to Charlie Darrington, the tight end, tackled by Darren Marlborough. And Kentucky comes out here, quiets the crowd a bit after a 16-yard reception from Ford to Darrington. That's the only thing that can stop this intense LSU crowd, and they really came to life in the third quarter.
And I think that delivery shows you what Eisman likes about this quarterback. He can get rid of it in a hurry with a lot of velocity, and as he gains knowledge of how defenses work and the right place to go, he'll be very effective.
Here's Ford to throw on first down under some pressure. Screen, it's Higgs. Didn't have much protection, so Higgs got about 3 or 4 out to the 42-yard line. We've been talking about Tim's giving wide receivers their awards. Of course, Tim, a great defensive back at Purdue, and then the Miami Dolphins. Tim, I want to take a chance to congratulate you on being named to the all-time Purdue team and to the all-time Dolphins team as a cornerback at the position which you played also along with safety. And, you know, everybody, I guess, knows what I think of you as a friend, but I think that's just a wonderful honor for a great career for yourself.
Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it, Bob. I owe it all to the Chief and Big Bear. Hi, Mom.
Here's Glenn Ford. Murray can't hold on to it. Ford was under pressure that time, too. They just really getting back there in his face. It was George Enriquez, number 91, that time.
Christian Alt, fine athlete and an intense competitor. That Kentucky team will get after you on defense. Came in here first in the SEC in defense, and it's because they have really come together now. They've got more size, but as you mentioned, with Chenault and Kramer and Reese and Barnett starting to make some plays, Massey really coming on, played well on defense.
Minute 43 to go, third quarter. This is third down 6. Ford rifles it to Darrington. Great concentration. I don't know if he got the first down. It'll be very close, but I really like this tight end, the junior from Tifton, Georgia. We said before the games he has good hands. He has great concentration. You just got to like his ability.
Yes, and he came in really as the third tight end, but because of injuries, he got a lot of reps in summer, and look at that concentration. As you mentioned about Powell, he takes a big shot, but pops right up. Tough competitor.
There it is. He did not get past the stick. It is fourth down and about a foot, and Kentucky out here at midfield at the 48-yard line deciding to go for it on fourth down. Here comes the LSU crowd into the game again. I don't think he got it. It was Ivy Joe Hunter. It'll depend on the spot, but it looked like the LSU defense held, led by 27, Kevin Guidry. From this angle, it looks as though Kentucky is short of the first down.
I always hate to see the ball go away from the line of scrimmage in short yardage situations, but you got to get the ball in the back gut before he can go up in the air. So, good job of defense by LSU.
Kevin Guidry, the big play, senior right cornerback, 27.
Watch him look for a read. He sees the ends blocking. Makes the hit. Hunter up in the air, takes him down. Good penetration by the defensive line of LSU, causing Hunter to jump. Kevin Guidry knocked him out of the sky.
Kevin Guidry got burned for a touchdown against Georgia, but came back with the game-saving interception last week in Indianapolis. First down 10, LSU, leading 28-9, 47 seconds to go, third quarter. This is Fuller, inside the 45 to the 43.5-yard line. I'm sure probably the Vanderbilt and Georgia football teams may, in fact, be watching. They're playing tonight in SEC action up in Nashville. And, of course, both have some interest in this Kentucky team. Georgia will be seeing Kentucky next week in Athens. We'll be televising that game. And I think despite the 28-9 lead by LSU here, they've just put on spectacular display in the third quarter. I still agree that this is a for-real Kentucky football team. Hodson on the naked keeper. Chased by Reese, and he elected very intelligently to take the ball to the turf at the 40, short of the first down. It'll be third and short yardage. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System.
Head & Shoulders Above the Rest is brought to you by Head & Shoulders Shampoo. The name Bob James commands respect in Alabama. In the early 50s, he started running back for the Auburn Tigers and was the SEC's Player of the Year in 1955. And after college, he focused his competitive spirit on the field of politics, gaining the governorship of Alabama. Bob James, a member of the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. Clearly, Head & Shoulders Above the Rest.
I'd no sooner settle for a flake in my hair and a spot on my uniform.
You pass the test, you're good grooming, have the look of success. Your head and shoulders above the rest.
Regular shampoos just rinse flakes. Head & Shoulders goes to the source to help stop flakes.
And that's doing it right.
Your head and shoulders above the rest. Celebrate, celebrate, Superstation TBS.
It's Penn State against undefeated Syracuse. Syracuse at home. First play from the scrimmage. Quarterback Don McPherson or Rob Moore. Watch Brian Chismar fall down, the Penn State defensive back. The same with the official. And on the first play from scrimmage, Syracuse scores a touchdown. Back to Bob and Tim.
Syracuse undefeated going into that game, and they are tough at the Carrier Dome. I doubt if it's as loud there as it is here at Tiger Stadium, particularly this past third quarter. Those are the third quarter statistics, and as you can see, LSU trailing in almost every statistical category at halftime. Jumped way back out in front now, 304 to 245 in total yards. The fourth and final quarter, LSU third down, 3 from the 41. And off to the fullback, Mickey Harris, who gets the first down and keeps the LSU drive alive. Look at this. We talked about LSU exploding in the third quarter. 180 to 41 in total offense.
They have got a lot of striking power, and when they're hitting on every cylinder, they can chew up the grass in a hurry. They've done it in the third quarter.
26 Alvin Lee split out to the top of your screen there, sophomore wide receiver for LSU. Hasn't seen much playing time so far. They hand it off to Fuller, thrown down the backfield at the 36-yard line.
Kentucky not through yet, but the weather beginning, I think, to take a toll.
It's about 80 degrees now. It was 72 at kickoff time, but it's about 80, and the weather taking a toll for one particular reason, Tim, and that is, as Jerry Claiborne told us, no depth on this Kentucky team.
No depth on this team. When if Jerry loses a first-line player, he really drops off in most areas when he goes to the second-teamer. And so what he's got to do is play these guys that have been used to that cold weather 4 quarters down here.
Second down, 10, LSU. The backs in an I formation. Harvey Williams splitting out to the wing. Hudson. Can't find anybody, but he's got all kinds of time to throw. Now there he is. Fumble. Incomplete pass. The officials have ruled it was not in the possession of the receiver. Let's see if it was.
Looks like he throws it to Alvin Lee. Lee makes the catch.
Egloff, I believe, Tim.
Excuse me. Thank you very much. That's a fumble. That's a fumble. That is a catch and a fumble.
There's a penalty marker down. Penalty's going to be against LSU. Illegal receiver downfield. Of course, Alvin Lee was 26. He was in the area, too, and the fullback was about probably the fifth option, 36 Egloff.
Those are things that happen during a football game that you just have to take for granted. There's going to be a couple of calls that'll go either for you or against you during the game, and that's just part of the game. Well, you can replay them all day long, but still there are going to be times when you can't really tell, and it's just the luck of the draw.
An eligible receiver downfield, no loss of down on the offense, decline.
So it'll be, that should make it third down 10. Look at this. Tech leading Auburn. Georgia Tech and Atlanta, and Auburn has missed 2 field goals in that game, and Auburn's only touchdown came when Kurt Crane, the linebacker, recovered a fumble in the end zone. Georgia Tech struggling this year, but Bobby Ross has them fired up for the Auburn Tigers today. LSU, third down 10 from the 36. Hudson. Now some pressure. Had to throw it away. Another penalty marker down. He was trying to get it to Raji McGee. And the quarterback pressure, 91, John Shannon, was back there chasing Hodson around. Kentucky going without much pressure the last few plays, Tim, in terms of blitzing.
Exactly, and they're going man-to-man underneath. What hurt them when they pressured was
holding against the offense, 10 yards.
Is that their free safety was having a hard time covering the slot. And that doesn't surprise me. I'm sure that doesn't surprise them. They just didn't want to probably get in that situation as much as they have been. But, Sellers covering Wendell Davis, I mean, you'd buy that matchup all day long, or Robinson, or whatever.
Against the offense, decline, fourth down.
That made a tough choice there for Jerry Claiborne's Wildcats. The reason they took a long time to decide is had they taken it, they would have given them the third down again. It would have been 10 yards and moved them out of field goal range, but they would have had an opportunity, of course, to have the other play. Now they got their long field goal kicker in, Ron Lewis. He's 0 for 2 on the year, but he has missed a 60-yarder and a 58. This will be about 52. Has the long leg. Hits it well, but it's wide to the right. So with 13:27 remaining in the game, Kentucky dodges a bullet, will have an opportunity to get back in this thing. Kentucky unable to score a touchdown today. Only 3 Joe Worley field goals. LSU with 14 third-quarter points, and they lead 28-9.
With every Budweiser enjoyed, the promise endures. The promise of genuine quality. Quality you can taste. Clean, crisp, Beechwood aged Budweiser. Always certain, always satisfying. Because we know you wouldn't have it any other way. That's why this Bud's for you.
For all those confrontations with the unpredictable, BMW introduces the ultimate defense, the 535i, with an amazingly agile suspension, a computer-controlled engine that constantly adjusts to changing driving conditions, and an ingenious anti-lock braking system. The 535i, it lets those who take driving seriously peacefully coexist with those who don't.
Portions of SEC football are brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And by BMW. To arrange a thorough test drive, simply phone your nearest BMW dealer. Well, Kentucky will start this drive at their 36-yard line. It is the best field position start of the day for Kentucky. That says a lot. That's one of the reasons they've been unable to get into the end zone. Ford throw on first down. Has his man open. It's D. Smith. Nice reception. He almost had the first down, but then reversed his direction. It takes it back to about the 43, a gain of 8. Verge Osbury with the tackle.
D. Smith coming across underneath the zone. And this is where you want to work on LSU in this situation. It's hard to get it over the top. Their linebackers well coached, get good deep drops, and you got to throw it underneath.
Second down short. Remember Norm Van Brocklin, when he coached and played, he always liked to go long when he was here at midfield on second and short yardage. Kentucky decides not to do that. They give it to Higgs. He runs for the first down. Eric Hill with the stop. That's the time remaining in the game.
We're talking about this LSU defense and the people that they lost last year. Listen to this. Last year, Roland Barbet is with Seattle this year. Let's see. Carl Wilson went to the Chargers. Henry Thomas went to the Vikings. Michael Brooks went to Denver. Toby Caston went to the Oilers. Norm Jefferson to the Packers. And Steve Ray Hodge is playing now with the Giants.
What do you mean by now? First down. And it's complete to Darrington, the tight end. Look at him run. Darrington with a great job of running after the catch to the 35-yard line, a gain of 16. Of course, what Tim meant is he's playing replacement ball in the NFL.
Here's that list. Producer Skip Ellison throws that up there. And that's a lot of people to lose off a defense and still have players back there ready to go. But Pete Jenkins, defensive line coach, and you got John Fontes.
That is Kevin Guidry, who is down. He made the hit on the tight end Darrington. We'll check on the condition of Kevin Guidry. We'll be right back. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System.
A6, hurry and you'll make it.
Delta Airlines ticket agent Sam Singletary knows how to get people moving.
Mr. Franklin, your bag.
But sometimes he has to show off a few moves of his own, the kind of moves that made him a first-string halfback. Sam Singletary shares a feeling with everyone at Delta. He loves what he's doing, and it shows.
We love to fly, and it shows.
Husky, born to work, bred to last. Pound for pound, nothing works like a Husky. The Husqvarna chainsaw, they call it Husky. Raw power and lightweight make it the professional's choice. It won't let you down. Nothing works like a Husky.
Guidry off the field. He was the player who was shaken up. They're attending to him on the side of the LSU sideline now, and James Pearson, number 25, has gone in to replace Guidry. It looks as though, and we think he's all right. It'll be first down 10, Kentucky. trailing 28-9, 12-12 to go in the ball game. Tight end Darrington was the man involved. Batted out of the air by LSU. It was Oliver Lawrence, number 99, who batted it out of the air for the Tigers.
And Oliver Lawrence backs up Eric Hill and Ron Sancho. And this good read way up in the air. Look, he's still going up.
He's only 6'1". He has good lead.
Tim Jones, just a quick stopper. Trying to stretch out the defense a little bit, never gets out there. That almost got stuck in his face, man. Way to leap, Oliver.
Now a Kentucky player is down, and that is 73 Butch Wilburn, the left guard, an exceptional player, a senior. And as they've mentioned to us, they're very thin at that part of the line. Wilburn looks to be okay, walking off on his own power. Fourth quarter, Georgia Tech continues to lead Auburn. Florida at halftime over Temple by 21 points. A defensive struggle between Mississippi State and Southern Mississippi. Oklahoma rolling over Kansas State. That's first quarter. Nebraska and Oklahoma State in the first quarter also. Thurman Thomas, the great running back for Oklahoma State. Remember how he'll do against Nebraska today. 4. Had his receivers open, threw it to an empty spot in the field. Tim Jones holding his arms out like, who are you looking for? I don't know who went wrong on that play. The receivers were open. They did not connect. Notre Dame by 7 over Air Force early. Syracuse leading Penn State up at the Carrier Dome. Michigan State rolling. By the way, we understand in the Florida game, they're leading Temple 24-3. Emmitt Smith, their freshman runner, is out of the game with an injured wrist. Ford is going to run it himself. He gets the first down and goes to the 20. He fumbles, but it was after the whistle. To the 19-yard line goes Ford. Pearson is the man who was involved in the play, number 25 for LSU, but Kentucky keeps this drive alive.
Big scramble here by Glenn Ford. Nobody open. Nice job of coverage by LSU. Ford displays his athletic ability, directs some traffic, and he's heading for the first down marker. Up and over to the top, and bango, gets nailed.
First and 10 at the 19. Pressure from LSU. Ford completes it to Murray, but for a loss as Murray slips down on the Tiger Stadium turf at about the 23. The pressure from 54 Eric Hill on 4.
You lose all those players on defense, and I was talking to Pete Jenkins about this, the defensive coordinator, and what makes a good defense. This group that's on the field for them now isn't necessarily as talented as a group as they've had in their recent past, but they play together as a unit. They all hustle. There's Eric Hill. Each one of them on every play coming after it. Clint James, just all stepping up to the plate each play.
Second and 14, Ford fires it over the middle. It is complete to number 17, Tim Jones, to the 15, 5 yards short of the first down. It'll be third down 5 at the LSU 15. The Tigers have not allowed Kentucky to score a touchdown in this game. Only 3 Joe Worley field goals. And LSU trying to break their winless daytime TV game streak. And on their way to it with a 28-9 lead over Kentucky with 10:28 to go, but Kentucky not convinced that it's over yet. Third down 5. Ford to Murray, needs a block, doesn't get it, short of the first down. There is number 99, Oliver Lawrence, to make the play for LSU. Big defensive plays by Oliver Lawrence on this drive.
Jerry's hot there, and he's one of the most competitive men I've ever seen, and he doesn't look like he's lost the fire. He's been coaching quite a while, but he's excited about his Kentucky football team, and what he was barking about there was that there's 2 offensive linemen that ran right by Oliver Lawrence. If you're out there, do something. Knock somebody down.
Fourth down 3. Kentucky trailing 28-9, has to go for it. Smith in motion. Only a 3-man LSU rush. 4. Incomplete. Had D. Smith wide open. D. Smith, who had some spectacular plays earlier in the year, has just had the longest day today.
Smith in motion, trying to get him open across the middle at man-to-man, hoping he could get a head start on a receiver, but it's not. It's zone. He finds the open area, He's there to make the catch. The ball is thrown behind him, but D is a good enough receiver to pull that one in.
We'll be right back to Tiger Stadium, 9:33 remaining in the ball game.
Xerex, the antifreeze that beats winter. Available now.
Your face takes enough abuse, so you need the Gillette Good News Plus disposable. Its LubraSmooth strip is designed to reduce irritation, so shaving feels so good. Good News Plus.
And unfortunately, that's the weather picture for tonight.
Roger is a weatherman. He knows the difference between little storms and big storms. And recently, when he saw a big one coming, the first place he went was his Honda generator dealer.
Hey, you're the weatherman. I need a real good generator.
And by the time the storm hit, Roger was prepared. The Honda generator, because you never know what the weather will bring.
Correction on our earlier Syracuse-Penn State score. We had it 10-3. It is 13-0 Syracuse with a potential minor upset. You see they're ranked 11th and 12th. That's the Carrier Dome. And Duke giving Clemson all they can handle, 10-10 in the third. You know, that was a Duke home game. They moved it to Clemson, so maybe Duke still thinks they're at home. On the first down to the 20-yard line goes Sam Martin.
There's Mickey Guidry. I'm surprised we haven't seen him so far today. Archer had told us about his two-quarterback philosophy. There are times, though, for specific reasons which they don't want to divulge to us, that they might not play the second quarterback. Hodson has had a heck of a second half.
That's right. It's a sensitivity decision on the part of the head coach. He's leading 28-9, so you had to say Mike Archer's had the right decision here so far today. Sam Martin again. Close to the first down. There's a penalty marker after the tackle was made. Sam Martin has had 9 carries for 39 yards. I really like the looks of him. Harvey Williams, 54 yards and 13 carries and 2 touchdowns. Dick Burleson's been as involved in this game as anybody today. A lot of penalty markers in the game. 8:47 remaining. We're in the fourth quarter from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Both these teams came into the game undefeated in the SEC.
Holding 10 yards against the offense. Repeat the down.
LSU's hurt themselves with penalties in this ballgame, particularly in the second quarter. I guess one of the biggest plays of the third quarter, Tim, and LSU starting to jump out to score the 2 touchdowns, is when they had a 1st and 20 after their own penalty and were able to convert the first down.
1st and 20, converted the first down, got in for the score there. Big series for LSU.
Second down, 13 now. 8:32 to go in the ball game. Inside the 10. Sam Martin hit at the line of scrimmage. Slammed down by big Jerry Reese. Jerry Reese is 6'1", but weighs 270 pounds and is probably the best overall athlete on the Kentucky defense.
And he's been a player ever since he got there as a freshman. He has been a contributor, and that's one of the reasons that this Kentucky defense has done so well to this point, is they've got good senior leadership from Reese and Kramer and let's see, who's the other senior back in there? There's some of them, but there's John Shannon. I knew there was somebody.
David Johnson thinks he's a senior. He's just a junior. Here's Hodson on third down and long. Wide open, number 6, Tony Moss. First down, LSU to the 35-yard line. They'll spot it at the 34. Christian Alt with the tackle.
What they're actually doing is running a man deep, running off the corner, settling a man down there about 20 yards to the outside, and they're running a man in the flat. And Massey sucks up on the man in the flat. They dump it down over his head to Tony Moss.
Gain of 24 yards. First down, 10 LSU, leading 28-9. Moss in motion. Here's the pitch to Harvey Williams. Hit at the line of scrimmage. Good job on the initial play there by number 99, Doug Hauser from Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. Speaking of Pennsylvania, he's a player from out of state on the Kentucky team, and there's a few Texas players, etc. But primarily, Jerry Claiborne has built a pretty good football team with Kentucky talent, and that's not a state based on population that's really rich in football talent.
No, it's not. As you know, more of a basketball state as you look at Bill Glazier there with the headsets on, but there are times when there's an all-Kentucky-based football team on the field in terms of hometowns.
If they're good and they live in Kentucky, they'll probably go to Kentucky. Whistle sounded. That won't count. It sounded before the snap of the ball. It was 2nd down 7 from 38.
LSU does a lot of things from both sides of the football at the line of scrimmage.
Dead ball foul, delay of game, offense.
25-second clock had expired. That's sometimes when you do a lot of things at the line of scrimmage, you'll get the delay of game call.
Right now, a lot of teams do offensive things at the line of scrimmage, but Mike Archer has a check with me defense also. They play it by position and field position, and he's got players that are intelligent enough, that understand the scheme of things well enough that they can do it without making mental errors.
Now 2nd down 12 from the 33. This is Harvey Williams. Wants to get it outside. He's punished at the 40-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 5. Ron Mack made the stop. LSU, I know the players aren't, nor the coaches right now, but fans are starting to think about the rest of the schedule. After this Kentucky game, should LSU hold on here with only 6 minutes left? They've got a schedule that's really interesting, which I'll talk about in a moment. But first, let's talk about these two players. Mark Higgs just couldn't get developed in the first half, although Ivy Joe Hunter had some good total yards. But in the second half, neither player could get on track. This will be 3rd down 5, LSU. Here comes that Kentucky blitz. LSU picks it up well. Fumbling the ball is Harvey Williams. He had the first down on the reception. It goes all the way back to the 41 and is short of the first down.
Watch this.
Was he thinking fumble?
Watch this. Watch this. You know, we talk about picks. Tony Moss comes in and picks off Mark Sellers. Sellers is covering Williams. Sellers is on the ground. He's out. This is a touchdown. He's just getting up. You could see his feet just as he started to get up, and Williams drops the ball.
You don't know what's in the mind of the young man when he fumbles, as Williams has been having a problem with it, but it has to have something to do with concentration.
Yeah, and what happens is then you start to press. It's like you trying to hit your 9-iron.
I don't ever use the 9-iron thing.
There's a driver.
What a job Matt DeFrank has done today. D. Smith takes it at his 10, gets a picket fence, needs a block. There was only one man more to block out there. They couldn't get him blocked, and out of bounds at the 39 goes D. Smith, and the play was made by 98 Burge Osbury. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System.
We're not a company, but outstanding people come to us every day. People who want to make a contribution to a team and do work that really counts. People eager to see new places, do the unusual, and find the unusual. People who become your friends for life. People just like you. We're not a company. We're your country. We're the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Army. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Fancy perfumey aftershave. It's got to be a quarterback's locker.
Real guys who get mud on their uniforms use rugged, honest stuff. Ice Blue Aqua Velva.
There's something about today's Aqua Velva, man.
So you still think linemen are dumb?
Burger King introduces the Bullseye Barbecue Burger. 2 flame-broiled burgers with cheese and bacon topped with a Western-style barbecue sauce. The Bullseye Barbecue Burger. Get it while you can at Burger King, the best food for fast times.
LSU leading 28-9 with 4:44 to go in the ball game. It will be 1st down 10 Kentucky from the 38-yard line. D. Smith with the punt return needed one more block, and he might have really broken a big one. Couldn't get it. Was driven out of bounds on the far side. So with only 4:44 to go, LSU in a commanding 19-point lead, 28-9 over Kentucky. Moore throws the interception, and it's that man again, 99, Oliver Lawrence. And he pitched it back to Jimmy Young. And Jimmy Young gets it up to the 44-yard line. Well, Oliver Lawrence somebody left him a wake-up call. Gee, he thought it was a nighttime game. He got a wake-up call late for this day game today, and he has really come alive here in the second half.
Well, I know his coach, John Mitchell, a former Alabama All-American, is proud of him. As we mentioned, Oliver Lawrence backs up Eric Hill. He's trying to get rid of it. Okay, now turn right at the stop sign.
Then he throws the block.
Right, yeah. Right. But he backs up Hill and Sancho, so they've got three good outside linebackers, and Abe Bear is the next one on the list.
LSU from the 46 of Kentucky, first down 10. Hudson toss out to the right to Wendell Davis, gets one block, uses it nicely. However, the block may have been too good as a penalty marker goes down at the 35-yard line. They're filming a movie here at Tiger Stadium called Everybody's All-American, and maybe Lawrence wants to be part of that movie. Jessica Lange and
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid.
Enemy Mine. But he doesn't look like he did in the movie.
Looks like Jim McMahon. Got a Jim McMahon haircut, wore dark glasses today.
Holding on the offense, they got McGee again, I think. Jerry Sullivan's going to tell him, forget blocking.
Or watch Wendell.
Right,
Block
it's about your hands, Raji. Close them.
So they move it back to the 45-yard line. 4:21 to go in the ball game, and this one's nothing but history now, but that one's not nothing but history. Look at the score. Georgia Tech, 10-7 over Auburn, fourth quarter, and Win Lyle, the exceptional freshman kicker, has missed 3 field goals in the game. 4.5 minutes remaining. That's at Grant Field in Atlanta. With the reception, they just came to the opposite side this time, and Wendell Davis gets it all the way to the 34 for the first down. By the way, speaking of that Auburn game, Auburn has the ball, but they have it inside their own 10.
You see Massey sneaking in. When Massey sneaks in, they're going to pop it out here. A quick one to Davis. A good job of blocking by Moss and a fine job of running by Davis.
7 catches, 94 yards. Davis had 11 catches last week. This game, he had only 1 at halftime.
And he's actually playing hurt. He's got a flak jacket on, a bit of a rib problem.
First down 10, LSU leading 28-9, 4:15 to go. This is Fuller running between the tackles near the 30-yard line. That LSU offensive line, we talk about the center, Nacho Albergamo, who, by the way, is an outstanding academic student. Pre-med major. Eric Andelsek, the right guard, number 76, and Patnick, the right tackle. We've seen some good plays on the left side today, though, from John Hughes and Ruffin Rodriguez. I guess it's Rodriguez.
Ruffin Rodriguez.
I like the name.
I'm a little bit disappointed, though. No Melançons and, those kind of singing-sounding names.
Guidry is the closest one to the Cajun-sounding name of this ball club this year. Just as we practiced for all those two. Tommy Hodson takes it to the end zone. It is incomplete. He wanted to get Alvin Lee, the sophomore, and he couldn't hold on to it. Good defensive coverage there by David Johnson. Johnson slow to get up in the end zone, by the way, for Kentucky.
You mentioned Guidry. As you see David Johnson in your picture, a fine man-to-man defensive back for Kentucky. Kevin Guidry had a touchdown pass thrown on him against Georgia last week, but was in great shape. As Sue Stanley attends to David Johnson. Sue is a Purdue graduate. There's Kevin Guidry. Yeah, he was in perfect shape, but really didn't get his head around, and that's why so many defensive backs get in trouble. But he's got so much confidence, came back strong, and playing like a champ today.
Junction Boulevard backed up 5-6 blocks and rubbernecking delays have traffic backed out about halfway to the interchange southbound, and it's stop and go.
Contrary to popular belief, there are millions of miles of roads totally unfettered by traffic, and one car that will inspire you to get up earlier to find them. The new BMW 325i. With 39% more power than its predecessor, it has the singular ability to bring a whole new meaning to the expression, rush hour.
And it's stop and go northbound all the way.
People in this country work hard every day. Not for fame or fortune do they strive. but the fruits of their labor are worth more than their pay. And it's time a few of them were recognized.
You work hard for every dollar you spend. Now get $5 back when you buy 12 quarts of any Valvoline motor oil.
You work a 40-hour week for a living, just to send it on down the line.
3 minutes, 26 seconds remaining from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. LSU about to break, as we said earlier, their winless daytime TV streak here at Tiger Stadium with a 28-9 lead over Kentucky, and they are maintaining control of the football at the Kentucky 30-yard line. It'll be 3rd down 7. It was close at halftime, and then Tommy Hodson started finding his favorite target, Wendell Davis, and things started to come alive in the 3rd quarter. Wendell not able to hold on to that one. Would have been a 1st down reception at the 20-yard line. Davis now with 49 catches on the year. Senior from Shreveport, and you can virtually guarantee that that young man will be a player in the NFL. Is he a 1st-round choice?
Oh, yeah. I don't think... Yes. And, it wasn't really recruited out of high school except by Louisiana schools, and came to LSU and just through hard work and paying attention, and has developed himself into a premier receiver.
47-yard attempt by Browndyke. He is the short-range field goal kicker, but he shows he's got a leg that'll get it there further than 40. A 47-yarder by Browndyke. That's his longest of the year. Browndyke makes it 31-9 LSU with 3:15 remaining in this ball game. Field goal kickers have really done a good job. Worley has been perfect on the day for Kentucky and has scored all their points. We hope you'll join TBS Sports next week from Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia, with the Kentucky Wildcats. We'll meet the Bulldogs of the University of Georgia. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern Time. Superstation viewers can get all the sports news on the Grandstand Report at 12:15 Eastern Time. Georgia playing at Vanderbilt tonight. This gives me an opportunity to talk about that LSU schedule that we had mentioned earlier. After this game, LSU plays at Ole Miss, and Ole Miss obviously struggling a great deal this year. That's a game at Jackson. It is, of course, and I guess everybody in this part of the country knows, an intense rivalry over the years. Then Alabama here, November 7th at Tiger Stadium. Then they'll host Mississippi State. The Tigers will November 14th and playing at Tulane. So the Tigers have a great shot on the road down the stretch. Auburn losing to Tech in the 4th quarter, 10-7, but of course it's not a conference game. But now Auburn's got to turn around and play Florida, Georgia, Alabama in the conference, not to mention Florida State. Tennessee playing Alabama tonight, and of course that's a critical game in the conference.
Kentucky and Vanderbilt's not on there. Vanderbilt, they give them a run for their money no matter what year it is, who's what.
And Bolden goes down inside the 10. Kentucky's field position has been abominable today. Their best start's been at the 36. They've had to start inside their 10 several times, inside their 20 about 8 times.
I think we talked earlier about the decision that their punt returners and kickoff returners have been making. It's just you cannot let it happen if you're returning a punt. Let the ball hit the ground unless it goes inside the 10-yard line. And twice D. Smith had opportunities to catch the ball around a 15, and it bounced down to the 3. And you just can't let that happen. You got to have somebody in there that's going to catch it.
4 from his own end zone. Throws it into the waiting arms of Jimmy Young, the SMU transfer. Young out of bounds at the 11, and that'll put the nail in the coffin if it wasn't already in there at 31-9. 3 minutes, 4 seconds to go in this ball game. This LSU team, everybody knew they'd be explosive offensively, but everybody questioned whether or not they could play SEC caliber defense. Well, they've answered that question.
4 lets it go, doesn't really step into it. The ball floats as he tries to get it to Darrington. And this is why, we talk about interceptions, Bob, and sometimes they judge the value of a defensive back by how many interceptions he has. It doesn't have anything to do with anything, because most interceptions aren't hard fought for balls. They're overthrows, they're tip balls, they're not necessary. It doesn't mean you made a good play, although Jimmy Young caught the ball and ran it back.
Here's the handoff at the 10, nothing going this time. Chris Chenault stopping Harvey Williams with 2:57 to go in this football game.
But you know what I mean? If you're doing a good job of covering, a receiver, and Mike Archer will tell you this as a defensive backfield coach and coordinator for a number of years, you're doing a good job of covering, they're not going to throw it there. So you really don't have a chance of making interceptions, and more often than not, they'll throw it away from you.
Speaking of, looking at Jimmy Young there, speaking of Mike Archer, if you talk to Joe Dean, Mike Archer, and Dale Brown, who want to go to school at LSU, you're talking overload with enthusiasm down here in Baton Rouge. Hudson under pressure, had to unload in the end zone, wanted to get it to Wendell Davis, but Chenault was right back there in his face, so Hudson wisely just unloaded. Spent some time yesterday with Dale Brown talking about his Tigers team. He really likes his recruiting year this year for the LSU basketball Tigers. And Joe Dean, of course, former basketball analyst on television and alumnus of LSU, in February named the athletic director. Joe Dean brings a lot of business acumen and intelligence to this LSU athletic director's job. They've got a bright future here with new young head coach Mike Archer. Joe likes him, too. Third down 10, LSU, leading 31-9. Harvey Williams. 5 and stop there. Now, what do? Do you tag up some more points if you're Mike Archer, or you go for it again? If you score, they'll say you're trying to load it on by scoring a touchdown. If you run it, if you kick the field goal, they'll say that. He's elected to go with the field goal. By the way, the long snapper for field goals and punt is number 61, Joe Champion. His dad passed away recently. We wanted to offer our condolences to the family. I knew Joe when he was just a youngster. His dad was a long-time assistant coach in the NFL. There is Joe Champion, an outstanding young man who is the long snapper. His dad, Jim, coached for the Falcons. His mother, pro football teams.
He was asking for you before the game down in the field.
He's a terrific young man. When I met him, he was about 12 years old, and he was about as big as he is now. You can see how tall he is. He's 6'5", and
I told him you're too old to walk all the way down those stairs and get back up in time for the broadcast.
Minute 31 remaining, and the delay of game now moves it back here to the 17, so it'll be a 27-yard attempt by David Browndyke. Beautiful sunshiny day at Tiger Stadium, but the temperature got up to about 80 degrees, and in the second half, I think the temperature took somewhat of a toll on Kentucky. Browndyke splits the uprights at 34-9 LSU. The last 11 games now, it's going to be 1-10 for Kentucky against the LSU Tigers. And speaking of Kentucky, and we talked about a little bit about the LSU schedule, Kentucky has a meat grinder this time every year. A lot of people talk about them starting with relatively easy opponents, but then wham bam, every year Kentucky plays LSU and Georgia back to back. So they finish this meat grinder, now they've got to go into Athens and take on the Junkyard Dogs.
They have Tennessee after that?
After that, Kentucky will have Virginia Tech, then Vanderbilt, then Florida. They'll close with...
Then Florida, Tennessee. Oh, that's much better.
Not much better, that's right. Nacho Albergano. Yeah, does he make our all-name team? Ignacio James Nacho Albergano, I might say.
All right.
Tim, why don't you
Commodore Ferguson.
Why don't you tell us about those guys there? I don't want to start on those
Godfrey
names.
Zombrecker at the bottom. That's the cousin of the offensive coordinator here at LSU right now. The guy that's calling the plays on offense, Ed Zombrecker.
Commodore Ferguson, Opie Dimmick. There's been some beauties. We were talking of Nacho Albergamo earlier, though. In the fall of 1987, Nacho is going to have a research paper on ornithology published in the leading scientific journal, the Southwestern Naturalist. Down to the end zone with a minute 28. Kentucky will bring it out to the 20-yard line.
I'm not sure it's good for an offensive lineman to know what he's doing to his body. Ignorance is bliss when it comes to that.
By the way, I'll stop on Nacho Albergamo, but he's got such an outstanding, obviously, he was a preseason All-American pick, so he's obviously a talented athlete, but a lot of times you don't get to hear enough about the scholarship. Nominated for the 1987 National Football Foundation and Hall of Fame Scholar Athlete and Fellowship Award for graduate school, and his academic honors go on and on. He has a 3.4 average as a pre-med major. Batted out of the air and harmlessly to the ground. It was Mike Hebert, 45, who got his hands on it. Now the clock down to a minute 22. Kentucky having to regroup now and go up and play Georgia. There was some chance, we understood, that Kevin Dooley, their quarterback, who had been injured, might get back for that game, but Jerry Claiborne said he was skeptical of that because Kevin Dooley had been on his back for 2 weeks bed rest and just got out of bed yesterday for a medical exam. Four, runs out of the grass to the tackler and throws it out of bounds. It'll bring up 3rd down 10 for Kentucky with 1:13 to go in this ball game. Auburn has the ball, 1st and goal at the Georgia Tech 3-yard line, and as you see, 40 seconds remains in Atlanta. Tech leading 10-7. Auburn trying to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. We'll let you know as soon as we hear something. Auburn missed 3 field goals in that game. But Tech is leading, Auburn driving, 1st and goal at the Tech 3.
Who'd have thunk it? After what we saw last week from Auburn?
That's right. They were awesome against Vanderbilt, and Tech has been struggling all year. Carrying the ball, Al Baker. That's the redshirt freshman from Cadiz, Kentucky, who'd been injured most of the year, and they really like Al Baker at Kentucky, but he doesn't have much game experience, so Jerry Claiborne not really ready to throw him in that mix with Higgs and Ivy Joe Hunter. 15 yards on that carry. Clock continues to run. 1 minute remaining in the game. 34-9 LSU.
Now, some people think there's nothing to running the football. Just give it to them and let them run. But there are schemes of blocking that you have to learn to read, anticipate where the hole is going to be.
And Bill Allen is the replacement quarterback who throws the interception. Coming up with the ball, 37, John Childers from Orlando, Florida.
Pattern, breaking it to the outside. Now come on back toward the ball. Come on back, come on back. The ball underthrown. Good move on the ball by Childers.
Fourth turnover for Kentucky. 3 interceptions today.
3 in the 4th quarter.
43 seconds remaining. LSU with it at the 46-yard line of Kentucky. These LSU Tigers strong both sides of the ball. Strong on the special teams. That's Jones carrying the ball, number 44. By the way, we understand Auburn is now 3rd down goal inside the Georgia Tech 5-yard line with about half a minute remaining in the game, and Georgia Tech leading Auburn in Atlanta by a 10-7 score. Auburn unload those big fullbacks in there. We'll tell you what happened on our post-game show, so you stay tuned for that. Leonard Valentine, the LSU quarterback, handing the ball off. Clock running down to double zeros, and that's the end of the game from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The LSU 34, Kentucky 9, and Mike Archer.
Themselves once again as the class of the NFL. And when the replacements were summoned,